Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
That is the bane of my existence. I went the whole movie as like a 10-year-old or something like that, waiting for Michael Myers, and he never shows up. And all I got was these stupid fucking Halloween masks that ate kids alive. Like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? I was so pissed and so disappointed as a kid that from that moment on, that movie became like the top of my list of like just the shit I would never acknowledge.
You can see this runs deep.
In the 80s when Freddy and Jason and
Freddy
Chucky,
always comes
where
back,
that was
yeah.
like the cream of the crop, the peak of horror in the 80s. To get rid of like your iconic franchise slasher was just, it blew my mind.
And this was his favorite one.
It's kind of like a big
It's
fuck
so,
you to the
it's
audience.
so.
I was traumatized as a kid when I saw that movie. I was just so enraged, like my childhood anger that this movie had the audacity to call itself Halloween 3 and then had no Michael Myers in it, just like forever just like blackened my soul to that movie. Like I can't forgive it.
I don't think he's watched it since. And
No,
we've
not
talked
really.
about doing it on the podcast, but he is adamantly opposed to doing it.
Yeah, we're finally fucking doing it. We watch Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. We watch it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Woo! We did it, Moongoons! Here we are. 200 episodes.
Here's to ya.
Cha-ching. Oh, yeah, we can't really do that, but...
All right.
Cheers. 200 here. So we're super excited about this. This has been a long time coming. Really, I don't know. I never thought we'd actually... I don't know. It's so cool that we made it this far and that we're still going. It just brings a smile to my face. Obviously, you guys, you Moongoons are a big part of that. Help because of you guys. We keep it going. So thank you very much. But that, like I said, this week, before we get into the movie, we did Halloween 3 Season of Witch. Obviously, if you heard from our kind of lengthy introduction to this movie, I have a long checkered past with this movie, and I never really ever wanted to do it. But we figured if we're going to do it, it needed to be special. So 200th episode was the right time for me to get around to doing this movie again.
Man. So happy 200.
Happy 200 to you as well.
Happy 200. Okay. So again, like Marshall said, thank you, everybody. And we are doing Halloween 3.
Season of the
Witch. Marshall's bane of existence.
Yes,
at least since he was a youngster.
Yes, that's even in the actually that line is actually in the intro. But before we get to Season of Witch, and we talk about, there's a few things we want to announce first in conjunction with our big 200th episode, because we're kind of making this a big celebration, not just today but next week as well.
Yeah, we would do this normally, just take the whole day and just have a whole bunch of people over, make it a big party. But with the the COVID, the lockdown, we're just spreading it out over 2 weekends just so we can schedule people and make it a little easier.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer, but hey, we're not gonna let that fucking rain on our parade.
No. So next week will be we're gonna have a bunch of guests on via remotely via Zoom, and all of our regular guests we've had on over the years, they'll be back for a kind of a sit down chat and retrospective, and we're just gonna have some fun talking about the past 200 episodes. But for now, also next week we will announce this, but we are going to be doing a giveaway, which we will announce the winner of next week's episode. We're going to be giving away 4 or 5 movies, and I think Aaron's going to kind of take the lead on that. So
yeah, so I'm going to be posting on Instagram and Facebook, and the movies I have that I'm giving away, I have, so I'm going to read them off now. A Muck Train, Stabbed in the Face, Santa Claus, Pool Party Massacre, and Knuckle Bones. So there's some good ones and there's some schlock in there too.
You actually get it. Technically, Muck Train is gonna be considered bad, but it's one of our favorites.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
That's a great giveaway. Except for Mrs. Claus is probably the worst of the bunch in there for sure. I think you get one of our favorites of all time. One of our all-time favorites in Knuckle Bones.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Santa Claus, not Debbie Rochon's finest moment,
No.
but we still love her.
Not.
We still love her.
So look for it. I think the rules are gonna be something about. I'm not sure exactly. It'll be like a
Tag a friend.
repost.
You know how those fucking things work.
Hashtag HHP200 or something like that.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll be posting that today.
All right. So in other news, we also this last week we finally closed out our Horrible Horror March Movie Madness Tournament of Awfulness for this year. A little delayed, but we finally got around to doing it. We crowned our winner. The Moongoons and voters have spoken in a unanimous ass whooping for the century.
I can't believe it's unanimous.
I don't think we've ever had a unanimous on a championship. On a final.
This blew my
Blew
mind.
me away.
Yeah.
Blew me away. But in just a massacre, Lake Fear 3 wins the crown and is deemed worst of the last year, making history as the only franchise to have 2 championship rounds. It didn't go back to back, but Lake Fear 2 won 2 years ago, and Lake Fear 3 is winning this year. So God help us if we ever actually go on to Lake Fear 1.
Are we getting a dynasty?
We might be getting a dynasty, but I have to do Lake Fear 1 now just to see if we can get a dynasty going
fucking
here.
patriots of horrible horror movies. The 90s bulls of horrible horror movies.
God damn. In fact, honestly, Lake Fear is not from 90s. That's a 2010 up franchise or something like that.
I was saying, the Bulls, the 1990s
Bulls.
Bulls.
The Bulls.
The 1990s
gotcha.
Bulls were
Gotcha.
a franchise.
Yes.
A dynasty, pardon me.
Yeah. All right, I'm sorry. I was not
That's okay, man. It's episode 200.
It's episode 200. Woo! All right. And also, because we announced our champion, the worst of the worst, there were 4 movies that we did last year that did not make the cut for the tournament because we deemed them too good.
Yes.
So
movies that were too, not worthy of the tournament because they were fun. We
fun.
had a good time. They were good movies.
Or they were voted. They were unanimously chosen as so bad they're good. They weren't scared. They got our seal of approval. So there were 4 of those, and of those 4, we ranked them from 4 to 1 as our 4 being the top, lowest, yeah. But whatever.
Still great, but
so our top 4 movies of this last year. Starting at number 4 is Bunny the Killer Thing. I think it was Finnish or Norwegian, but I think it's Finnish.
It's a Findy.
It's a Findy. That's right, Findy.
Yes.
Thanks, I forgot
a
about
Findy horror movie.
This movie was insane. It's basically a crazy sexualized. Well, it's a crazy Finnish version of like Night is Something Strange. Very similar to that, and the fact it's overly sexualized. Just
Rabbit Were-Rabbit
going around humping people with this giant were-rabbit
fucking
dick.
people to death.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And there's also like a heist involved at the same time, like a pop star.
Yeah, there was a kidnapping. Yeah,
it's a really weird movie. But it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Moving at number 3, this is where Aaron and I we had a little 1 and 4 unanimous. So Aaron and I went back and forth on 2 and 3, but it's okay. So at number 3 we finally settled on Life Force. This movie is insane.
Yes,
it's crazy. I guess we kind of voted a little more down in 3 instead of 2 because Aaron made a point. It's a little more sci-fi than horror.
It lends a lot more to sci-fi. I mean, these are alien beings,
vampires. By the way,
they're found in space.
Alien space vampires.
But the end has this insane zombie apocalyptic scene, which I think is still some of the best.
One of the best zombie apocalypse scenes I've ever seen on film.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So good. And Patrick Stewart, the blood feast or whatever is going on.
Patrick Stewart is amazing. So he's barely in it, but he has this one scene where he's just screaming like a madman, and it's awesome. Only Patrick Stewart can.
And those titties.
Yeah, the girl who's naked the entire movie.
Oh my god.
Then you have the naked blood chick in the helicopter, which is crazy. It's just an amazing. It's really a fun movie.
Yeah, check it out.
And then coming in number 2, we have Prom Night 2. Hello, Mary Lou.
Woohoo!
So 2 for 2.
Bop, a loop, bop, ba da, bam, boom.
This movie was just fun, and it came in at number 2 because it was more horror-esque than sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean it's a definite horror movie.
Yeah, definitely
and
horror.
It's a great trope of the prom queen getting killed and coming back, and it's well done.
The goody uptight blonde, girl next door gets possessed by the slutty prom queen from the 50s and goes on a killing spree. And there's some great moments in there. One of our favorite kills was the locker room scene, which is for an 80s special effect looked really good.
Yeah.
And then at the time that the movie was made, it was a record because it had the largest full body burn ever caught on film at the time.
You get hot watching it.
Yeah,
man,
it's incredible. It's really incredible.
Michael Ironside's in it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's worth watching. We enjoy it. And then coming in number one was a movie I never even heard of until I just stumbled upon it and decided to do it. And it turned out it blew my mind in all the best ways. But Intruder from the 1980s, about a killer in a supermarket in a grocery store in a small town. I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. I've never seen that premise before, but it turned out to be really good.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell, small part. Yeah, but
Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, I think. What I just lost what I was gonna say. Oh, Danny Hicks crushes it in his role in this movie. Danny Hicks is so good, and some just amazing, some of the best gore special effects I've ever seen for a movie of its time. The kills were so great.
Really good.
Really good. By far, hands down, the best movie we watched.
The one we're getting
the saw through the head, and by far the best movie we watched of this last year. So there's our top four to go along our championship.
Check those out, guys. You know, we reviewed the worst of the worst in horror movies, but we do come across
some gems every now and then.
Gems.
Yes. And last thing we're going to talk about before we get to the movie, we are going to announce our 2020 Hall of Fame class into our Horrible Horror Hall of Fame. So
that's the official music.
Yeah, that's the official one. So going into our actor-actress wing is probably a long time coming, but finally getting it in, is Miss Brinky Stevens.
Yay!
She's been in movies we've done, a lot of movies she's been in on the show, including one of our giveaway movies, Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, that's Santa Claus. She was in Mrs. Claus.
Oh, that's right.
She was in Mrs. Claus, not Santa Claus.
Not Santa Claus.
Yes, my bad. Sorority Girls in a Slime Ball Bolorama. Death House, which was last year's championship winner, by the way. Slumber Party Massacre. Night of Something Strange. And she was the voice of the mother on the telephone in Bloody Mary 3D as well.
That's hilarious. She just has a telephone credit.
Yeah, telephone credit. So Miss Brinky Stevens, congratulations to your induction of the Hall of Fame.
It's interesting we talk about a telephone credit.
Yeah.
Coming up. Bing, bing, bang, bang. Okay.
Moving on into our director-producer category, we have Mr. Jim Wynorski. This guy has brought us 3 movies we've done on the show.
Wynorski. 2
of them, well, actually all of them are pretty memorable for different reasons, but leading off, we have the main one, Chopping Mall, which is a classic movie. Then he also did Shark and Saw Women's Prison Massacre. And he did 976 Evil 2.
Oh my God,
which was Aaron's drunken fiasco of an episode.
If you haven't listened to that episode, if you want to hear Aaron get drunk and like try to dominate a podcast, listen to that one.
Not show about how much he loves this movie. Like we were all like, Aaron, shut up.
I made Jello shots, and of course I had like 4 of them before I got here.
Yeah.
And then I got here, and then I had like 6 more with some beers, and by halfway through the podcast, you can tell there's a definite switch. There's a definite shift of gears. And we had Doug on, we had Chris on, we had Sarah Samples on. So we had a big one. And I'm like, rah, rah. It was like, dude.
It's because it was
125.
When we did 976 Evil, the first one was kind of our first all-star super show because we had everybody on for that one. So we brought them all back for the sequel. And man, it was just chaos.
Jim Wynorski, you made a monster out of me for that one.
And last in our production company / distribution company wing, we have The Asylum. Now everybody's probably familiar with them because they're famous for their shitty, crappy movies that they spit out many times, like doing those ripoffs, like instead of like Transformers, it'd be Transmorphers or something like that. Some of those crap. But they've done a lot of crappy shark movies. I think they're behind the Sharknado series too. But for us on the show, they're behind Zombies 1 and 2, which we just did last time.
Yeah. And
Halloween Night, the 2006 version, not to compare to Halloween Night 2009, or Halloween Night from the 80s, which is also called Hack-A-Lantern. So those are the 3 movies of The Asylum that we've been unfortunate enough to stumble upon and fall victim to.
So congratulations, Asylum.
Yeah.
You're awesomely bad.
You are awesomely bad. Yes, your plaques are in the mail. So there's our class of 2020 Hall of Fame. I'm always excited to get that when we get around to that and inducting a new class.
Yeah, before we start the movie, I do have one thing to plug.
One thing to plug.
Yes, I have one thing to plug. My sister, Rhiannon, has started doing a podcast. She started doing a podcast. Her and her friend Rebecca have started doing a podcast.
Oh, I remember Rebecca.
Yeah, and it's called Same Old Story. It's a podcast that they watch the original, and then they watch the remake and say, was it worth the remake? Was it good? Was it bad? How was it? Of course, it's not horror related. It's just different movies. But they just had their first episode drop, and it was for Ghostbusters. So they did Ghostbusters 84 and Ghostbusters 2016. So it's kind of cool to hear them talk about it. And, so check it out. What way to go, Rhiannon and Rebecca.
That's awesome. Yeah,
so
shout out
it's
to
pretty cool.
Yeah, I did not know they were doing that now.
They always talked about it, but they finally
decided to get into it.
And I you can't be more proud of things like that.
No, that's cool. That's really cool. All right, so with all that out of the way, thanks for bearing with us, guys. Let's get into Halloween 3 Season of Witch. The movie's released on October 22nd, 1982, so they timed it just perfectly, pretty much.
Fuck yeah.
Written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. He's got 23 credits as a director. This was his very first directing job. He directed 2 episodes of the 1987 TV show Max Headroom, if you remember that, who had his own TV show in the 80s. Jesus. He wrote...
God, Max Headroom. I just wanted to be like, what's up?
Yeah, God, Max Headroom.
I had a Max Headroom shirt.
Yeah, everybody loved Max Headroom. There's something about some weird cybernetic
He was like AI.
Like a weird VI or AI type guy that who wore sunglasses and had like a flat top or something
weird
like that.
Plasticky looking flat top, but of course he was like supposed to be a computer or digitized, but he wasn't. It was an actor, but still.
Yeah,
God, it was so weird.
It's so weird. He wrote Fright Night 2. And he directed it as well. He also directed in the 1990 Part 2 miniseries of It, the 2-part miniseries. So he directed that.
Oh, nice. The one with Tim Curry.
Yes. He also wrote Amityville 2, and he was a ghost in the original The Fog, and did the voice of the Silver Shamrock commercial announcer in this movie.
The Fog, also a John Carpenter movie.
Yes, indeed. And I don't know about this, but it's listed under his information, which I kind of call bullshit on, but who knows? He's listed as being an uncredited Michael Myers in the original Halloween. So maybe like for a day, he stood in as the shape in maybe a background shadow shot and got credit for that. But I don't know about that. I can't verify that, but it's listed there. But
that's cool.
But everybody knows, like, when it comes to the shape, it was like Nick Castle or Dick Warlock or something like that.
Yeah, but Nick Castle definitely for the first one. But I'm sure they had little stand-ins,
like
little fun things.
I can't verify it, but that's what's there. You can find this movie on Amazon for rental or for buying. It's not free on Prime right now. You also find it on YouTube for a fee, and Vudu and iTunes as well.
Or you could be a true fan and just own the movie.
Well, unfortunately, I do now because I had to buy it on Amazon to get through this. All right, the cast, everybody knows, probably the lead on this is Tom Atkins plays Dr. Daniel
Atkins. Mr. Steal Your Girl Atkins.
So, anyway, everybody knows about him. He's got 84 credits. He played Nick Castle in the original The Fog, which is named after the guy from Halloween. So he was in The Fog, too. He was Ray Cameron in Night of the Creeps, probably the one he's famous for.
Thrill me.
He was Burke in the 2009 remake of My Bloody Valentine.
And he gets killed on the porch with his jaw ripped off in that one.
I think that's it.
That's the jaw rip-off one.
And he was Raimi, I think it's Rehme, Raimi, in Escape from New York, another John Carpenter. He's a big John Carpenter guy. He was in the original Creep Show, and he was Frank McRae in Maniac Cop. And he's the man that gave birth to the name Cincinnati Jeff as well.
Yes. We've told the story before.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into it. I'm sure you can listen to the story again on the Here Comes the Spooky podcast as well.
And I believe the story we heard was for the Miners Massacre. So if you want to go back and listen to that, you can listen to that too.
Yes, probably. Yeah, probably was. Mm-hmm. So then we have our main villain, Conal Cochran, played by Daniel Hurley. It's a very Irish name. 136 credits for this guy. Guy was a workhorse. He was Old Man in RoboCop 1 and 2. He was Grig in The Last Starfighter, which is a great movie from the 80s. I loved watching it as a kid. and he was Andrew Packard in the original Twin Peaks TV show.
Yes.
Then we have Linda Callis, played by Nancy Lies. Only 9 credits to her, but she's pretty famous in the horror world and kind of a cult favorite because everyone knows her better as Nancy Loomis, which is the name she used in all of her John Carpenter films, where she was Annie Brackett in the original Halloween movie. So she was one of the 3 girls in the first movie. And she was Sandy Fidel in The Fog, so another Fog alumni. And she was Julie in Assault on Precinct 13, another John Carpenter movie as well. Last, two last people we're gonna make is Starker, played by Jonathan Terry, 31 credits. He was Colonel Glover in Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2, so another horror connection there.
Yep.
And Harry Grimebridge, who's only in it for a little while, played by Al Berry, 34 credits. He too was in The Last Starfighter, and he was also Dr. Gruber in Reanimator. So,
Oh yeah.
so there you have it. There's the people worth mentioning for right now, for this one. So that brings us to the main event.
The movie proper.
Movie proper.
Before we step forward, of course, we all know your checkered past with it. Now,
Yes.
you said you were going to go into this movie open mind, no biases attached,
Yes.
and judge it solely on it as a
And
horror
I
movie.
think I did a good job of that. I tried very, very hard because I'm well aware of now. Also, I want to keep in mind, this is the first time I've watched this movie since probably like 1991, 1992. So that was the last time I watched this movie. But I'm well aware of the fact I'm going in now. Michael Myers isn't in it. I know what to expect. So I'm trying to be, I try to judge it just on the movie itself. And we'll see how that goes. So
I think it's like a guy, like a priest trying to hear out an atheist on this one. So, yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I think you might have. No, I don't know.
I know. I feel like I'm kind of screwed there. Like I feel like if I say at the end if I still say so bad it's scary and it sucks, the people are like, oh well, you just had a bias going in, you didn't give it a fair shot. But if I say, oh, it's so great, blah blah blah, and then I'll be like, oh well, you're a flip flopper now or something. I feel like I can't really win in this situation. But maybe if I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I mean, just speak from the heart,
that's what
my
I'm doing.
friend, and
that's
then
what I'm going to try to do.
you can sleep easily.
So
Fuck the haters.
fuck the haters. Here we go. So we open with the credits on an old 80s computer dot matrix screen or something, like not dot matrix printer, but a very old computer screen, as an image of this jack-o'-lantern is printed up and made on the screen. Very, very dot. Oh, like dot matrix. I don't know what else to call it. It's like dot 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 dot.
Yeah.
It's very old.
It's pretty cool. I like it, but it's long.
It's so long.
It's a little too long.
Yeah. This whole movie felt long. Not off to a good start. That comment. So.
And the bias is back.
10 seconds in. Fuck. Anyway, so
You can't even help yourself.
all right. So now we're taken to Northern California at night, where we see this middle-aged man running down a road.
And man, this is so John Carpenter. It's
so John Carpenter.
Dark. There's a dog barking in the distance. And you hear boom, 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 boom. Just very minimalist.
I had
sounds.
a note about this, but I can't remember where the hell I was gonna mention it because I can't remember where it is in the movie. So I'm just gonna say it now. One thing I did like about the movie, John Carpenter's music was still solid. There were some great musical scores in there that I loved. That was so I loved that. That was good. So we quickly see the man's running away from someone in a car that's following him slowly behind. And the man has this jack-o'-lantern mask sticking out of his waistline, and he tries to hide in a junkyard, but he's pretty easily found almost immediately by another younger man in a suit. The man in the suit grabs the middle-aged guy by the neck, forces him down to the ground. He begins to choke the middle-aged guy. While they're struggling, the middle-aged man is able to get his hands on a chain that's attached to this cinder block, shock block.
I thought he was gonna mollywop him for a
I
minute.
thought that would make more sense. But first of all, this chain is 18 feet long to attach to a chop block, so far away. Anyway. He pulls the chain eventually, which rips the chalk block out from underneath the car's tire, and this car starts slowly rolling down a slight decline towards the men.
Now, when Marcia says cars, these are fucking 1970s.
They're boats. They're big old boats.
Big, huge, almost 2-ton cars.
Yeah, they're
just
giant.
metal, steel, iron smash.
Yeah.
Real fucking cars, not your fiberglass cars.
No. So this car starts rolling down the hill, and it rolls down, and it crushes the man in the suit, between that and another car. So he's like, all, and he dies. He's dead instantly. Which I was like, I don't know if you really, it would hurt. You'd probably get pinned, but I don't know if that would kill you.
It could fuck you up.
It would
But
fuck you
yeah,
up,
I
but
don't.
he dies instantly.
He does die pretty quick.
Instantly. And it's like, come on. It's so slow.
What a bitch.
What a bit. So the middle-aged man like worms his way out from underneath the dead guy and the man in the suit and the two cars and takes off running as another man in the suit shows up. And then we cut to a nearby gas station where on a TV a news report explaining we learned that somehow one of the giant 5-ton stones that makes up Stonehenge has mysteriously gone missing. What? But that happens. So the station attendant he's like kicked back, reading a magazine, and now we get our first of what seems like a fucking infinite amount of Silver Shamrock TV commercials.
Oh my god.
And if you've seen the movie, you know the fucking song. It gets stuck in your head, like it makes the point where it's and then it's basically London Bridges redone because of copyright purposes. But the attendant hears a noise, looks around, but he doesn't see anything. And then he gets grabbed from behind by the middle-aged man who tells the attendant, "They're coming! They're coming!" And then he gives the attendant the pumpkin mask and collapses to the floor, seemingly dead. We cut to some house somewhere, and in enters Mr. Tom Atkins.
Mr. Steal Your Girl, Tom Atkins.
We meet his kids and his ex-wife, who was played, like I said earlier, Nancy from the first Halloween movie. Atkins gives his kid these like shitty plastic Halloween masks.
He's like, "Hey kids, happy Halloween. Here you go. Hey, enjoy these." And
these ungrateful little shits are like, well, "Mommy already got us masks.
Silver Shamrock masks.
And they go over and pull them out like, look what we got.
Yeah, and Tom Atkins like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I mean, they didn't say it yet, but you get you find out that they're divorced and he's just, or separated.
Yeah.
So he's coming to visit the kids and fucking mom gets a Silver Shamrock mask and he's got, fucking drugstore plastic piece of shit.
Casper the Ghost or some shit.
Making him look like an asshole.
At that point, Atkins' beeper goes off, which surprised. I didn't think they quite had beepers in 82 or 81, but
yeah,
I guess
pretty primitive, but I think
very
so.
primitive,
yeah.
but yeah,
I think it was just like it would just beep. It's like, okay, this is obviously from the hospital. I better call them.
Yeah, so he has to go into work, and we learn that he's a doctor who loves to drink. And thanks to his ex-wife's comment, drinking and doctoring, great combination. And so she's giving him the business, and which I also don't blame her for. He's a fucking doctor who's drunk all the time.
He's on call. Come on, he's not in the hospital.
Yeah. So we cut to Atkins arriving at the hospital at the same time as the middle-aged man we saw earlier gets brought in on a gurney, and he's laying there on a gurney, and in one of the side rooms he hears a Silver Shamrock commercial on the TV, which wakes him up from his, I guess, coma or whatever he was in, and he tells Atkins and the nurse that they're gonna kill us all. They're gonna kill us all. And outside we see another man in a suit standing outside the hospital, kind of like,
ominously watching.
Yeah.
With another like music. It's just something else about this movie. There's so many musical stings.
Yeah.
Just at the right time.
What does it say? Time passes. The middle-aged man is now sedated and sleeping in his own hospital room.
Still clinging to the mask.
Which I was like, wouldn't they kind of take that away from him, I would think?
It's funny because I thought the same thing, and because I work in a hospital today, yes. However, if he's clinging to it and it's more, if the juice isn't worth the squeeze, then why fight him? Just be like, okay, let's keep this guy calm. It's a fucking mask. Let him hold it.
Right.
Because I thought the exact same thing. Today, they'd still be like, it's protocol, for the most part. Anyway. Fucking doctors drink on the job. I think they're going to be like, whatever.
So, Atkins and a nurse leave the room. They exchange some banter. Atkins slaps the older black nurse on the ass and then goes into his office.
He's a fucking HR nightmare.
I was about to say, the days of before sexual harassment were a thing, really.
Oh, he's like, I should have married you. Wow. And she's like, oh, you. I loved it.
Yeah. Again, we see a man in a suit. This time he's standing at the end of the hallway watching the nurse and Tom Atkins walk away. We get several shots of the completely empty and quiet hospital again, which we've talked many, many times before on the show, where everything in the hospital why is it always fucking empty and no one ever around in a hospital that should be packed with doctors and nurses? I don't care what time it is. There's going to be multiple people on staff there.
There's going to be people on staff. Yeah, and that's something like,
I mean, I get it, but I get it if you're an indie movie, but this is, at the time, this was a relatively big budget, larger budget. Just how hard is it to have some crew members throw them in a doctor's lab coat or a nursing room and just have them walk in the background somewhere?
Yeah.
Just shows up, but they're always empty and void of any people.
Halloween 2 is the worst.
Halloween 2 is bad, but what was it? That
X-ray.
Valentine's Day Massacre, whatever it was called.
That was like a several-story massive hospital.
It was like a skyrocket, yeah.
In Dallas or something, and there is no one.
Nobody there. Yeah. So, anyways, the man in the suit enters the middle-aged man's room as Atkins goes to sleep on the couch in his office. 'Cause I guess he's drunk and needs to pass out. Who fucking knows?
It's not uncommon for doctors to take a nap.
No, I'm just being a dick.
You're just giving Tom Atkins
I'm
the
just giving him
business.
the business. Man in suit walks up to the middle-aged man, covers his mouth with one of his hands. This wakes up the middle-aged man. Man in suit raises his other hand and uses his thumb and index finger, pinches down into the middle man's eye sockets, like pinching against like the nose of his bridge, the bridge of his nose. Sorry.
Just starts cramming his fingers into his soft eye holes.
His
soft, wet eye
dropped
holes.
Soft, wet eye holes. Thank you for bringing that back.
Yes.
Thank you. I can't believe I would have let that slide. So Man in Suit continues to force his fingers down into middle-aged soft, wet eye holes, then summoning the strength of the Incredible Hulk all of a sudden, like rips middle-aged man's skull in half.
Just basically rips his face, punctures his fingers into his eyes, grabs a hold of all the bone that he can, and just rips it forward.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a pretty cool effect.
I mean, it's not like his skull rips apart and it actually comes apart, but you can see like shift like a tectonic plate or something like that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Killing the middle-aged man instantly. He's dead. The pumpkin mask, jack-o'-lantern mask falls to the floor. Man in suit wipes his bloody gloves on the hanging curtains.
Classy.
As he does, yeah.
You got to keep it clean. He's got a nice suit, nice isotoner gloves.
Yeah. As he does this, in comes the nurse. He comes in to check on middle-aged man, and seeing the bloody murder scene, she starts screaming. The man in suit just like calmly walks right past her. Away, and heads towards the exit. The nurse screaming wakes up Atkins. He gets up, rushes out. The nurse, like, what's going on? And she points in the direction of the man in the suit. The way he went,
she's hysterical.
As she stutters, trying to explain what he did. So Atkins runs outside after the guy just in time to see the man in the suit get into his car, who then pulls goes like all Tibetan monk and douses himself in gasoline and sets himself on fire, to which instantly the car explodes.
Well, I mean, there's a fucking can of gas in there.
Right.
If you got a can of gas in the car, you light on fire, it could very well explode.
Yeah.
Very well explode.
So, I will say this. I will give the credit, even though we were just talking about this earlier, I did notice at this point, it was nice to see at this point when Atkins is running through the hall to get outside, you do see some other people. There's some doctors and nurses kind of gathered kind of by the entrance lab, I guess, hanging out smoking. There's a few other people there, so I'm like, okay, thank God, because earlier it was just a barren wasteland.
It's just going to be the one nurse and one doctor for the whole hospital.
Exactly. Who was on call, by the way? So there would have been like no doctors there. There's just like one nurse managing the entire hospital.
3 shots of whiskey in, too. Come on.
So now we cut to Atkins on the phone with his ex-wife, telling her that he can't pick up the kids tonight. She's pissed at this, and she's yelling at him for a bit. Atkins agrees to pick them up on Saturday morning, and then he gets off the phone. The room is bustling with various cops and firemen and, other emergency personnel. Atkins picks up the pumpkin mask and sees the silver shamrock button logo on the back of it and shoves it down his pants, kind of like his waistline, kind of like, I'm going to take this now.
Show my fucking ex-wife. I'm going to get one. They didn't have the pumpkin one. I'm going to do the pumpkin one.
That's right. They didn't. They had the skeleton and the witch, I guess. Crossfade to Sunday the 24th. The exploded car still smokes in the hospital parking lot. Atkins is still at the hospital with the cops in the dead middle-aged man's room. In comes the dead man's daughter to identify the body, which I found out because I don't think they'd have him do that in the crime scene. They'd probably come in and identify the body in the morgue. Now, in the middle of the murder scene where he was killed with blood everywhere. Like, that's a bit traumatizing for the next of kin right there.
It was a little weird.
So the cop tells her that her father was killed probably by some crazy guy who was most likely high on drugs.
Some crazy guy is high on drugs. And I'm glad she's like, really? Are you kidding me? And you guys like, whoa. We just don't know anything.
Yeah. So why do you say that? There's like,
I know.
Anyway, we don't know anything. We'll get you. Why you say, just some random dude on drugs?
But
whatever.
I like that because it's something that like a small town cop would probably say, and then realize once he said it, he's like, oh shit, that was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it was. I can't agree with you on that one. The woman leaves, and Atkins goes back to staring out the window like he's deep in thought. It's weird. He's just, I don't know. It's like he's a goth emo on a rainy day.
It's pretty disturbing, man. You see a guy get his face ripped open, and then the guy who killed him set himself on fire.
Right.
I can understand how you're like, God damn, that was intense. That's a lot to take in.
Okay. I don't know. I just found it weird. They show him like just standing like looking out the window like he's daydreaming or something like that. Just like
thinking about his feelings.
Yeah, like he's having an emo moment or something. I don't know. So we cut to Atkins leaving the hospital. Now he turns a corner and spots the daughter leaning up against the hallway wall corner, crying a bit. She turns, spots them. They make eye contact, and then Atkins just walks off, fade to black. Now that skips ahead to Wednesday the 27th. So 3 days later, we're at the coroner's examination room, lab, office. I don't know what you want to call it. Here we meet the blonde coroner's assistant, who, at this point in my notes, names escapes me, but I remember now because I was watching it. Her name is Teddy, which is a really odd name for a girl. Teddy.
Unless you're talking about lingerie.
Yeah, but she's not wearing a teddy.
But it's
and maybe that's his nickname for her. Hey, Teddy.
Yeah, it could be because they have a very flirty
yes,
relationship.
They do.
It definitely implies that
they're bang buddies.
He's probably sunk that ship before, in the deep oceans of Teddy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I kind of like that idea. Like maybe that is it, but yeah, I guess a weird. I didn't think about that, but that's a weird name for a girl.
I mean, Tom Atkins in this movie is a fucking Don Juan. He's charming nurses, slapping asses. He's talking to coroners, talking like they've been, to Pound Town before.
So he convinces her to investigate the exploding man's death on the down low and to keep the findings just between them. Which I'm not really sure how that would work. Cause, I mean, you have a guy. It's not like the guy died and nobody really knows about it yet. He blew himself up in the parking lot of the hospital
after ripping a guy's face out.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's gonna be news. Everybody's gonna know about this.
People want to know what's going on.
Like, they're like, oh, I can't tell you that. So that's kind of bullshit right there. Then they, again, like you said, they walk out of the room with his arm around her, like hey baby, like an item.
Yeah, he's like, so how you doing?
And she gives him a kiss,
like a kiss on the lips.
I couldn't tell if his lips are like right or cheek
close enough. Regardless,
close enough.
It was affectionate.
Yes, it was affectionate.
And he's he's like, you still got that? And she goes, yeah, I still got this. He's talking about doubling the dildo. You still got that? Yeah, I still got it. All right. They have wild nights.
So now we cut to Friday the 29th, 2 more days later. Atkins is drinking alone at some hole-in-the-wall bar.
Love it.
He asked the bartender to change a TV channel, which has like cartoons on, which is a weird thing to have in a bar. And it gets changed to a TV commercial for the original Halloween movie. And this is the one and only time Michael Myers has ever seen this movie. And it's just a cameo shot for people advertising, watch the horror movie marathon Halloween nights, and we're going to feature Halloween, the iconic classic.
So you're kind of patting yourself on the back here a little bit.
Go on your own movie, iconic classic.
Check out Halloween. Yeah, don't forget about the original.
Yep.
And I bet you in hindsight he's like, oh god, I shouldn't have fucking done that, because all it's going to do is just remind people that Michael Myers is not in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not even in the movie, but not even apparently in the same universe. Because it's not like it's just happening in another part of the world that Michael Myers is off in Haddonfield killing people.
No,
this is a movie in a world where Michael Myers Halloween was a movie. So Michael Myers is fake in this world.
Exactly. So this is a multiverse.
Yeah.
John Carpenter here.
So we get another Silver Shamrock commercial counting down the days of Halloween. Now in comes the daughter we met at the hospital. She introduces herself as Ellie Grimebridge. They talk about Ellie's father and his death, along with that what he was ranting about before he was murdered. So they decided to team up to investigate all of this.
Dude, why not? This is so great because Tom Atkins is kind of like, hey, all right, let's. He basically decides to go on an adventure with her.
Yeah, he's a fucking drunk doctor. I guess maybe he's drunk, but I don't know. But it's like he's on the whim. It doesn't take much to convince him. Like, yeah, all right, let's. I'm a doctor. I have responsibilities at a hospital. Where's Beast Witch? How is he not working? Did he just abandon all of his patients, all of his sick people that need him at the hospital or something like that? Just like go on some crazy private investigation for the next 4 days? He just abandoned everything.
Dude, you know what privates he wants to investigate?
Yeah, exactly. I know what privacy
he doesn't give a fuck about like solving a mystery. He wants to get in them drawers, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Oh, Tom Atkins, high life.
Jesus Christ. So we jumped into two of them, and Ellie's father's like little general shop, little storefront street, little thing, and where he sold some of the silver shamrock masks. And she shows Atkins her father's record book and points out that she thinks something happened between his appointment to pick up more masks and his dinner date with Minnie Blankenship, which is another callback to the Halloween movie because Tommy Blankenship. Yeah. Somewhere between here and Santa Mira, which is where the Silver Shamrock factory is, or where the masks are made.
Not too far away.
Not too far, but yeah. Now we cut to Atkins on a payphone with his ex-wife, where once again he bails on his kids.
You can hear her shouting in the background, like, you're going to a doctor's convention? He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of doctors talking about crazy stuff. It's like, well, what's the hotel? I don't remember the hotel's name. It just hangs up on her. What an asshole.
He's a fucking asshole who is abandoning his kids to go off with some strange chick he just met.
He's going off with a strange chick in hope of getting some of that strange.
But it pisses me off so much because, like, especially as, like, I guess we're both new. Well, you're relatively new. I'm relatively new father. Like, he's just abandoning his kids all the time. He's like, fuck him. I'm out of here. He's thinking probably, I'll pick him up. We'll do this. And he's like, nope, sorry. I got to go get laid or go try to get laid. Fuck you, kids.
And he takes a 4-pack.
And a 6-pack. He takes a 6-pack of Miller High Life with him.
Yes! Midlife crisis, Tom Atkins! Get that puss!
So he gets in the car with Ellie and they set off for Santa Mira. As they drive away, the camera pans over to a storefront filled with TVs, all playing the goddamn Silver Shamrock Halloween countdown commercial. This fucking song makes me want to shoot myself in the head after a while because goddamn it gets so fucking annoying and it feels like it's nonstop in this movie.
Well, it's kind of the point.
I get it. But if they did their job then, fucking A. We fade to a small driving montage while we get a brief history of Santa Mira from Ellie or Tom. One of them was going on about the history of the town.
Basically, all you need to know is that it's like a bunch of Irish immigrants. Bunch of Irish immigrants.
Yeah.
Mostly Irish immigrants.
Which is weird. So Ellie and Atkins arrive at the small town where every single resident stares at them as they drive through. So this shtick again.
Real small town.
But it's like everybody's like, what? And giving them the old stink eye. They come up with a plan to gather more information by and possibly gain entrance to the Silver Shamrock factory by posing as husband and wife who are there to buy like a large shipment of masks for their store somewhere.
This is where old Tommy sees his angle.
Yep.
To get in there.
So they get a room at the local motel, this shitty roadside motel. Ellie keeps the motel owner busy while Atkins starts skimming through the guest book, sets registration, and finds Ellie's father's name is indeed signed into the guest book.
He did stay there.
Proving that he did stay there. So as Ellie and the motel owner get her bags from the car trunk, he points out, "Hey, look, there's Mr. Cochran now." And the camera cuts to this black and blue car slowly, so slowly, like driving down the road. It's more like creeping down the road. It's barely moving. As it passes the motel guy, tells Ellie that Connell Cochran is a great man. He's a true genius. He's so great and wonderful. And he's a true, philanthropist and all this shit and blah blah blah. Yeah, sucking that dick. Up pulls a Winnebago type, RV thing, and out gets the Comfort family, Buddy, Betty, and little Buddy Jr. They introduce themselves to Atkins and Ellie. And
they're obnoxious.
That Buddy they are. Buddy Kempfer is here to see Cochran and the factory because I guess he won a tour as the largest seller of Silver Shamrock mask in either the country or some region, but he's there because he's the number one seller.
He sold a whole shit ton of these masks,
Yep.
and he's gonna take little Buddy and little Betty, whatever her name is.
Betty.
Go check out the Silver Shamrock place.
3 Bs.
Ba-ba-ba-bang.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Sorry.
So another car pulls into the line now, and out gets Marge, another store owner from somewhere, who is all mad because like her shipment of masks it never showed up or got messed up, or she has to, and she's here to get plane and get a replacement order or something like that along those lines. Ellie wants to go straight to the factory and start looking around, but Atkins tells her, "Hey, it's getting late. I want a drink."
Yes!
Of course, he's like,
whoa, calm down. It's getting late, and I need a drink. All right. Old Daddy hasn't had some sauce in a while.
You know, he had a whole 6-pack on the way up here.
Starting to get the shakes, honey.
He must be seriously a serious alcoholic. He drank the entire 6-pack on the road to get here, and now he's like, I need another drink.
You could have had a couple with her. She could have had a couple.
Drinking and driving now. Awesome.
It's
the
80s.
80s. I knew you were going with that. So Atkins suggests that, at this point, he's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should get my own room, or I could sleep in the car, or something like that.
But he does it like so, like puppy dog. Like I could
Yeah.
makes you feel better. I could sleep on the floor in the car. Maybe I can.
And she's like, but she's like, well, that might blow our cover as husband and wife. And like, well, where do you want to sleep? And he's like, well, that's a stupid question. And then just walks up to her and just starts making out with her.
Yes.
What?
Yes!
He met this girl like a day ago.
Yes!
And she's like, first of all, like half his age. She looks like she's maybe 19, 20 years old.
Oh my
at
God!
This point. And he's like in his 40s. And he's just like, come here, bitch. Blah, 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 blah,
It's
blah,
that
blah,
mustache, man.
Fuck.
Who wants a mustache ride?
Woo! Jesus. So now we cut to like a city. We cut to the town of Santa Mira, and a citywide like announcement speaker system says it's 6 o'clock and curfew is now in effect.
Huh?
All residents, please clear the streets. That's fucking early for a curfew.
No shit.
Like, doesn't barely even give the factory workers enough time to get home. Granted, it's a small town, but 6 o'clock? I would say it was like 9, 10 maybe, but 6? Fucking A. So now we get this montage of various town folk all locking themselves into their homes and closing up. And we see night falls, and we see that there are security cameras placed all around the town. And we see some of the worst security camera footage I've ever seen. Like when they show the shot, like what the camera's looking at. It's like this black and white, like it's blurry night vision. Like
it's like bad. Really bad night vision.
Like I don't know how you even be able to make anything out. Like what's the point? Is you can't tell what you're looking at.
It was like stuff that was light was more of in a white, and everything else was in black. It was really strange.
White.
It was like colorblind predator.
Yeah,
you know?
I was saying, my thing was like I was thinking more like Terminator vision. Like when you see Terminator, it's all red. Blue,
Yeah.
It's very like that because you even had the sound effect of the camera moving along. Only the thing is, the Terminator vision, even though it's all red, was much clearer. I remember in the original Terminator than this shit. This like is garbage. Like it's the worst. So. We see Atkins coming out of a store with a bottle of booze, which is clearly way past 6 o'clock now. Because when that curfew comes on, the sun's still setting, it's still daylight. He comes out of this liquor store, it's nighttime. It's dark. So,
dude, you know what he was doing? He was shooting dice with the store owner.
I'm
They
gonna say
lost track of time.
Apparently, the store. Well, when did he get over there? Because he was making out with fucking jailbait over there, and now he's in a store buying more booze because this guy is.
Guy's
liver
awesome
because
he's
shot, dude. Like,
awesome.
how is he alive? How is his liver still functioning at this point?
Dude, he's going out with a blaze of glory. You know.
So he makes it back to the hotel, or he starts making his way back to it, and he goes down this alleyway. And he bumps into this homeless man, and the homeless guy is like, "Hey, buddy, can I get a drink of that?" And
that bottle sure looks heavy.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's whiskey or something. And this leads to a conversation between the two of them, and we learn the homeless guy has a grudge with Cochran and wants to burn down the factory.
Because he wouldn't hire him. He's a local guy. He's
Yes.
not one of these Irish immigrants. He's a local boy, and they didn't hire him.
Cochran basically refused to hire any original local people, and everybody in the factory is his own people he brought in from the outside.
All Irish immigrants. Yeah.
I also love the way that the homeless man asks for the drink. He says like, "Hey, that's looking awfully heavy, man. Can I get a drink of that?"
Yeah.
Don't worry, I ain't got no diseases or nothing. And Tom was like, all right, here you go. I'm like, that's good.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor. If all people, like, no, dude, I know the danger of this. But could you imagine that shit? I just love the idea of today. Like, dude, can I get a drink of your boob? Like, fuck you, get away from me. Where's your mask? Wear your mask. But still, it's like, how carefree, like, I don't have no diseases, man. Like, all right, here you go. Just take my booze.
Oh yeah, and he gives him a couple bucks later. I think like a smoke.
He actually gives him like the whole bottle. I think. I don't think he even, like, Atkins like, here, just take the whole bottle. I think at that point. So, homeless guy warns Atkins to watch out, that they're probably being watched, and he keeps saying that last Halloween, the homeless guy says last Halloween some pretty wild shit went down here. He's heard rumors, man. I heard rumors. But he doesn't really explain anything about that, and he just walks off down the alleyway.
Starts rambling and stumbling off. Like, he starts off relatively sober and pretty much with it, and by the end of this 1 minute scene, he's hammered.
Yeah, and he's had like one swig of the booze too.
That's a
lightweight.
That's a cheap date.
So Atkins heads off as he cuts back, and he heads off, and he cuts back to a homeless guy now wandering around like a junkyard or something where I guess he lives or something. And he quickly gets grabbed by two men in suits. He tells the men in suits that, hey guys, I was just kidding about all that shit with Calgary. I'm just kidding. But the suits force him to his knees in between. There's one guy behind him, one guy in front of him. And the one in front of the homeless guy grabs the homeless guy by the head, while the one behind him pushes down the guy's shoulders to kind of keep him pinned on the ground. And then the camera cuts with this wide shot, which really ends up looking like the homeless guy is blowing these guys in his head. Like, it looks like he's sucking these guys' dicks off. And I shit you not, it really does. And what makes it even worse is because, like, the way you see, like, I'm gonna
like shaking.
They rip the guy in front ends up ripping the homeless guy's head off. But from that wide shot, you see him, like, he's got both his hands on the guy's head, moving him back and forth. It looks like he's like face fucking the guy, and then he rips his head off. Like, it's like, did they not like? Did somebody not see, like, whoa, maybe we should have rethought this shot, guys. The cinematographer, like, maybe we should rework this because it looks like some out of a porn movie.
I didn't get that at all.
Really?
Kind of tells me where your mind's going. But I guess it could happen. Sure. I mean, I'd have to watch it again and have the perverted mind of blowjobs. That's it. Dueling blowjob. You know.
It's what it looks like, dude. It's what it looks like.
But it's not a bad effect.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, the head gets ripped off, and then they do that wide shot, and
yeah, you see like a splurt, little guys are like shoot out. From
I did like what the homeless guy was eating before.
What was that?
It was just like a piece of bread with a whole bunch of easy cheese on it.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that part.
Oh, that is hobo classic.
We back at the motel. Ellie ends up in a conversation with Marge. They're talking, during which Marge tells Ellie that her kid threw her silver shamrock mask against the wall, causing the trademark button to pop off, which she shows Ellie. It's like, hey, yeah, see this little button? Here it is. And they go their separate ways. Marge turns in for the night, curling up in bed with her book, while we see Ellie getting out of the shower.
You're about to see titties.
Yeah.
And then she puts a towel on, the shortest goddamn towel, and I'm like, are we going to see some bush?
You see some, some dark shadow, suggestive bush.
You just never.
You get side titty, and she gets actually because she's.
Yeah, I know, but it was also through the window, the foggy.
Was it? I thought she stepped all the way out, but okay.
No, so I was like, oh man, because I was.
Yeah,
she's not. She's pretty. She's pretty
cute.
She's
a cute girl. Meanwhile, Atkins is on the phone in the motel lobby with Teddy, the blonde female coroner's assistant that we mentioned before, and he wants to know if she has any info about the guy who set himself on fire. She tells him that someone made a massive boo-boo and that she's been doing an autopsy on car parts this whole time. They hang up. Atkins goes back to his motel room where he finds Ellie waiting for him wearing lingerie. And she drops her towel and is like, hey, look, I'm wearing lingerie now.
And he's just like, game on.
Game on. They make out. They end up having sex. We do get a little bit of tit shot here, very briefly, but you do get your tit shot there.
I must have blinked.
Yeah, it's one of those. So that's it. So they're banging. He's banging jailbait.
So you're like, that's it. It's like, okay, show's over. Good night.
Cut to later that night. The two of them are cuddling in their post-coital bliss. But Ellie isn't finished yet, and she starts climbing on top of Atkins, kissing on him. And this is the point where Atkins asks how old she is. I'm like, really? This is the point? This is when you ask? It's a bit late now, buddy. You've already banged her once.
At least twice.
Maybe twice. Maybe that's something you should have asked way back before you made out with her the first time, or even before you fucked her for the first time.
I love it.
And her response is not the most reassuring response either, because she simply says, relax, I'm older than I look. That clears up nothing. She could still be fucking 17, and be like, I'm 16, I look 18, or something like that.
Right.
But, so,
oh my God.
this whole thing just stinks of fucking jail.
I remember one of the girls that worked at Joe's Crab Shack when we worked there.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Like, I was going to go on a date with her, or I was going to start hanging out with her, and I was like, man, she could be kind of young, you know, because we were 18.
We were closer to 2021, because we were in college.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was our college. It was
college, like, it was our summer
colleges.
Christmas jobs, yeah.
And I was like, what is she, like 16, 17? And she lied and said, she's like, it's not like I'm 18. So when she said that, I was like, with the impression that she was saying I'm 18. But no! She was not 18. She was 16. And I was 20, almost 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had some run-ins with that, with not her, but my own situations like that too.
Did it matter? Keeping it classy, like Tom Atkins here.
Yeah. So, before we implicate ourselves anymore in some statutory incidents, let's move on. We cut back to Marge, who's still up reading. She finally puts her books away and she finds a trademark logo button on the floor. She picks up and looks at the back of it. And on the back, she sees what looks like a small computer chip or something. So she pulls out a bobby pin from her hair and uses it to start poking.
Trying to pop it out or
poke
something.
it or scrape at it or something. She's just fucking with it.
I thought she was trying to pop it out.
Yeah, maybe. But in doing so, she triggers something, and this bright blue laser beam shoots out from this computer chip, blasts her in the face, like right in the mouth, and then her face, we see like her mouth, or like all around her mouth and face is like blasted, the skin's all ripped back, her teeth are showing.
Blasted open, her eyes are beet red,
yeah.
Completely red, and she's like,
and she dies as this bugs start crawling out of her mouth.
That's intense. That's like intense. I was like, Jesus Christ.
We crossfade back to Ellie and Atkins, who are now asleep again, and the sounds of vehicles approaching and braking outside their room are heard. It wakes the two of them up. And now, for you ladies out there, or for I guess maybe Aaron or maybe Cincinnati Jeff,
the only real nudity we get in the movie.
The people who are in love with Tom Atkins get a full moon axe shot of Tommy Boy there.
Dude, he just gets up and immediately his pants are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear to God, he must have been laying in bed with one leg in the pants and gets up because he just stands up.
Because he passed out. He was so fucking drunk he couldn't get his pants off originally. He's like, I think about it.
Dude, I love that idea of he's just like wanting to fuck so bad he doesn't have time to take his pants completely off. He just takes them off enough and like he gets one leg out. He's like, that's good enough. It just keeps going and passes out with it like wrapped around his foot. I love that even better.
So the two of them get dressed. They go outside to see what's going on, where they see like 6 men in white doctor's coats standing around while 2 more of them carry Marge's body out of a room on a stretcher covered up in like blankets or sheets or something.
Yeah, Tom Atkins just blows his cover. I'm a doctor. Exactly.
He totally does. Oh, fuck. I forgot about this. Like, I'm a
doctor. It's like, you a fucking toy salesman or something?
Yeah, didn't you say you were a toy salesman earlier? Or maybe that's why they did it. Well, no, that's not why, but never mind. The motel owner tells Atkins and Ellie not to worry, that Marge will get the best medical care. After Marge is loaded into the back of a van, not even an ambulance, a fucking van, up pulls Cochran's car. Cochran gets out, tells Atkins and Ellie that it's all over, nothing. It was just a little accident. He tells them that she'll be taken to the factory where they have top-notch medical facility for emergency treatment, if that's not suspicious. The men in white coats kind of whisper into Cochran, telling him that it was a misfire. Cochran kind of... He gets back in his car, and he drives off. Atkins and Ellie are back in their motel room talking about what just conspired, trying to put the pieces together. Then, we cut to the next morning, Saturday the 30th. Again, Atkins calls Teddy, who seems to live in the coroner's lab.
No shit, and be at his beck and call.
Yeah. She tells him that she's beginning to wonder if someone is tampering with her stuff, because even though it was a hot fire, there would still be some bone fragments and teeth and remains, but none of them
Yeah,
but there's
all-
nothing there to indicate a body, just ashes and car parts.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of. She's like looking at a box of gears and all kinds of like
Springs.
springs, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So Atkinson asks her to find out everything she can about Colonel Cochran, which I guess she's not just a coroner, but she's also a private investigator. That's not my job, dude. She tells him this will cost him some serious dinner dates when he gets back. To which he says, "I'm always ready for dinner with you." So again, yeah, definitely they're boning on the side too. Atkins hangs up the phone. The camera pans down to show a bug. Not like the bug that came out of their mouth, but like an actual like CIA like spy
a microphone,
a listening bug device like stuck to the back of the desk that the phone's on. So now Ellie and Atkins head to the Silver Shamrock factory while being watched by one of the men in suits as they walk down the streets. Inside, one of the lady secretaries tells Ellie that her father did pick up an order himself back on the 21st and that he was here. But not getting info they were fully looking for. Atkins and Ellie, they go to leave, but as they leave, they bump into the Kupfer family as they come in.
Yeah. Because they're here for their tour.
They're here for the tour.
Because they were the top salesmen.
That's right, and they're fucking annoying. They go to leave again, but then Cochran enters, ready to give the Kupfer family a tour. But Buddy's like, "Hey, Mr. Cochran, you mind if my new friends tag along? I mean, come on." And he's like, and Cochran's like, "Sure, I was just about to ask him that." He's like, "Fuck you," basically.
And this is when Tom Atkins is like, he's about to be like, "No, let's go." And then fucking Ellie is like, Yeah,
let's go.
Let's take that tour. And you can see Tom Atkins like,
"Fuck, this is my drinking time. I want to be at the bar drinking, not doing this shit."
"Fuck, I don't have a drink."
Yep.
This is going to be a rough one. Hang in there, Tommy.
Cochran agrees. He also tells him that Marge was flown to a hospital in San Francisco for better care. Now, the next several scenes and minutes, we just watch them go through the factory tour. We see how the masks are made. We see Cochran's weird, creepy toy museum, which it's just a weird thing that's there. They throw in for no reason.
They're giving a backstory that, he's a master toy maker and he's been in this industry for a long time. And, the fat guy saying he just pays so much attention to detail. He makes he's always made the best toys, So, you're kind of getting the impression that he's a master toy maker.
Yeah. So, near the end of the tour, Cochran tells little Buddy Jr. to pick out one of the finished masks, take for himself, and Buddy picks up one of the pumpkin masks. Cochran mentions something about the final processing of the mask, the final step, but tells him that area is off limits. It's confidential.
Trade secrets.
They continue out to the loading dock, and then Atkins spots several men in suits. Like one's like up on the rooftop, another staying between some trucks. They're scattered all over the place, standing watch like creepy
and they look
statues.
very similar.
Yeah, they all look very similar. So Atkins grabs Ellie by the arm and starts leading her away, like we're leaving. But as they walk past more men in suits, then Ellie spots her father's.
One of the dock doors opens and sees.
Yeah, that forklift comes out with like a load of boxes of masks, and then behind it she sees her father's car half covered in a sheet. She tries to run up to it, but she gets cut off, blocked by like several men in suits. Now we're just going to cut to Atkins and Ellie back in their motel room, packing up their bags, ready to leave town. Like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
I don't know. Right. Tom Atkins comes out of the bathroom, does with a glass of whiskey, and takes a double shot.
Dude, it's not a shot. He just downs his whole glass of whiskey.
I'm like, I'm in love with Tom Atkins, dude. I'm Ellie to Tom Atkins. I'm like, you can do anything to me.
Jesus Christ.
You're awesome.
So where was I? Atkins leaves her alone in the room to finish packing while he goes to the lobby to make another phone call. He calls. He tries to place an emergency call, but the operator tells him that they cannot complete his call as dialed. And it happens too. She tries again, same thing happens.
Did you recognize the voice?
We're going to talk about that.
Okay, I didn't know if you had that or not.
Yeah,
I recognized it right away.
Yeah, well, it's controversy. On the TV in the background, let me write that down so I don't forget. Voice, phone, later. So on the TV in the background is the fucking Silver Shamrock commercial again. Atkins hangs up the phone, goes back to his room, but when he gets back there, he finds that Ellie is now gone and missing, nowhere to be found. He looks outside and sees like 6 or 8 men in suits standing there in the line looking right at him.
Pew! Musical sting.
Yep.
Pew!
Atkins slams the door closed, rushes to the bathroom where he climbs out the back window to make his escape as the men in suits break down the front door to kick it in. Atkins starts running through the town. He's getting chased by Silver Shamrock Company cars while men in suits stalk after him.
But he's able to get away by diving in the bushes like a guy who looks like he's in his mid-40s.
I don't remember seeing that, but keep in mind, this is like the middle of the day. And then the very next time we see him, it's night. Like, it's dark out now. I
love it. He's running across the street, and, he's like 45, 46 in this movie. That's how old Tom Atkins is.
Yeah, right.
At the time of the filming, and he's jumping into bushes, and I'm like, oh yeah, he looks like I would now, because I'm like, I might hurt my back. But again, I love it.
Shit, where was it? So anyway, he's using night to his advantage. He's hiding in shadows, avoiding the cars. And we see one of the cars pull into a garage at the factory where two men in suits haul Ellie out of the car and kind of take her off somewhere. Atkins gets to a payphone, tries to make another emergency phone call again, but just like before, the operator tells him that this call can't be completed as dialed. And again, he has to hide from an SS car, which, come on, SS.
Silver Shamrock.
Silver Shamrock, SS.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see?
Hey,
all right.
right.
Maybe else pick up on this, because I can't be the first, but from an SS car. So after the car passes, he takes off running for the factory, which he very easily breaks into. And for a mega company that's trying to hide all these secrets and these horrible secrets, they have a really shitty security system. He just opens the window and goes right in.
Marshall, he's a middle-aged alcoholic doctor.
Yes.
How dare you question his abilities?
Not fucking Sam from Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher or something. Or Bourne. Anyway, where was I? I'm sorry.
You were naming spies.
I was naming spies for some reason.
Let's go James Bond. Come on.
James Bond. Nah, James Bond's weak.
Oh.
Inside, Atkins sneaks his way through the factory, through the toy museum while dodging security cameras. He comes to a room where he finds an elderly woman sitting in a rocking chair knitting. He goes up to her and starts shaking the shit out of her. What are you doing? Mom, talk to me.
Where's Ellie? Where's Ellie?
And this causes her head to just fall off of her body. And dun dun dun, we see the woman is not a woman at all, but a life-size mechanical mannequin toy thing. And at this point, I started getting real tourist trap vibes from this. I've seen this before. So in his shock, Atkins is taken by surprise from behind by a man in a suit. This leads to a fight scene that ends with Atkins, who I guess somewhere along the line injected himself with the super soldier serum, because he doesn't just punch the man's stomach, he punches through the man's stomach into his body completely. And when he pulls his hand out, we see it's not covered in blood, but is yellowish, orangish goo. And in his hand, he's pulling out a bunch of wires and circuits. So oh shit! Now we get
the suited men or toys or created robots
or cyborgs or some shit like that.
And Tom Atkins in that fight scene, he punches him a few times to no avail, but for some reason his soft spot is the gut.
Right,
because when he starts punching the gut, you can see he's like, oh, and the robot starts reacting, and the third punch, like you said,
punches through him
into that tapioca dyed
whatever the shit that is. Yeah. So some of that same goo starts oozing out of the man's mouth. Again, in his shock, Atkins gets grabbed from behind by another man in a suit, and a second one shows up at this point.
But Atkins is so shook.
He at this point, he doesn't even put up a struggle. He just stands there.
Dude, he's his alcohol level is dropping.
Yeah.
His power is waning.
Dropping, yeah.
I need a drink.
Instead of Popeye spinach, it's his alcohol.
Give him a high life.
Hulk has rage. When the rage dies, Hulk anger. He turns back Bruce Banner. Here, Atkins loses his.
He needs whiskey and high life.
Drunkenness.
Whiskey, high life, and pussy.
Christ. Woo! So anyway, at this point, up comes Cochran holding the head of the old woman, saying this is a rare piece from Germany made in 1785. I'm like, bull fucking shit. Anything in that elaborate mechanical, no way anything that elaborate was made in the 1700s.
Well, maybe the head. He was holding the head.
Yeah, but he's talking about the whole body. I mean, the whole body was mechanical.
I'm splitting hairs, Marshall.
All right, during all this, Atkins just stands there like he's been shot with fucking Thorazine. Another callback to Halloween movies.
And this one.
And
yeah,
this one,
They
yeah.
make mention of Thor's.
That's right, they do. But he does manage to ask where Ellie is, to which Cochran says she's resting comfortably. And then Cochran starts rambling on about tomorrow being Halloween and it's going to be a busy day. Time jumps now to Halloween morning. We see Atkins being led by the two men in suits across the loading dock yard, followed by Cochran. They all load into an elevator, and the elevator ride, Cochran brags about his high-quality robotic henchmen. And the exit, I guess this elevator is like fucking Nick Fury's secret shield base or something. I don't know. Like, they go down on the ground, like it's like a Bond villain's base, like something. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, and he talks about the creations and
Yeah.
how lifelike they look, and how it's actually pretty simple stuff with a little secret here and there. Just kind of like giving it's just explaining it away, which
Yeah.
is great. But he does mention how hard it is to make the outer appearance.
Yeah. So they get off the elevator. Atkins is led further down into the factory, this underground super base, whatever. Cochran, he's still Bond villain monologuing here. He talks about he does mention ancient alien technology, to where I was like, what the fuck is this horse shit now? Ancient alien technology is now being mentioned in this movie.
Did you say alien?
Yes, because I had the subtitles on. Ancient alien technology is mentioned in this fucking movie. The camera pans over to reveal a giant underground warehouse, and in the middle of it is the missing Stonehenge stone that weighs 5 tons or more.
Giant
Stonehenge stone. Nearby is a circular control/command center made up of dozens of TVs and computers. It's set up in a circle.
But all of like late or early 80s
But
style.
it looks, it's old, odd sci-fi movie shit with
it's
just
so
a random
funny,
blinking light.
Because you see it and you're like, oh, that's 80s as fuck.
Like, this is the shit I saw on the Death Star and on the Starship Enterprise. Like,
And
it's the
all
same
that
shit.
technology can fit into a phone now. Like, we control all this from this command
It's funny,
center.
like, a while
It's like,
back-
but now it'd just be like 3 people with a phone or a laptop.
Yeah.
Like, da-da-da-da-da.
Like, I remember a while back, it kind of blew my mind. It kind of make you think about it. I heard a fact that, like, they said, like, all, like, the computers that were required to use for the first moon landing could fit into your phone now or something like that. It was
I heard
it
was like when PlayStation 2 came out. They're like, oh yeah, this is the equivalent of everything that helped land a phone. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
crazy
insane.
stuff.
So, Cochran talks about Stonehenge being an ancient sacrificial circle. Then he takes him being Atkins over to a table where some men in lab coats are putting the finishing touches on a pumpkin mask. Cochran explains that each of the trademark buttons that he put on the mask are lined with a fine layer of stone dust that they're chipping off of the Stonehenge stone, and that the stone has power in it, a force so powerful that even a simple particle is devastating. What? What the fuck is going on? Ancient alien technology. Stonehenge is like a magical. Well, that one I like because there's always been mystery around Stonehenge. I'm like, whatever. But where are we fucking going here? This is
I remember him
ridiculous.
saying alien technology. I know you had the subtitles on. I get it, but I was like, maybe I missed that part.
Well, he talks about planets later. So anyway, Cochran leads Atkins over to control center where one of the security monitors. Atkins sees Ellie strapped to a table in like a holding cell
She's
room.
strapped down good.
Yeah, she is. And he's probably getting in, and he's stands there like, "Fuck, I'm gonna fuck her on that table right
It's
now."
like also, oh, she's tied down.
Oh, I always want to do some bondage
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Let's get some 50 Shades of Grey going.
And click my rings together.
Yeah.
All right.
Cochran also shows him Marge's dead body in another room that looks like it's a morgue. That's like this place is a morgue, and tells Cochran that it's time for him to watch a demonstration and points to one of the TVs. So it cuts to the Kupfer family being escorted by men in suits to a room. First of all, this whole family should be like, "Whoa, where are we?" This is very suspicious because they look like they're in an underground fucking bunker, like a bomb shelter.
No shit. Now the wife is kind of like, what the fuck is all
Yeah.
this? She seems like she's drunk.
She does seem a little drunk.
Yeah,
too.
she seems pretty tipsy. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
cheers to you.
Cheers. We're doing some shots now in honor of all this, and
All right.
I didn't want it smoother than I thought it would.
Tell me about it.
Damn, I thought it was gonna be nasty. What was that?
Jim Beam season, like a Christmas seasonal, like hot, like
Hot toddy? Was
Yeah,
it the
hot toddy,
That was the
yeah.
hot toddy? That was much better than I thought it would be. I did not think it was gonna be that good. It was very
I'm
smooth.
surprised it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Hey.
I did not expect that. So anyway, Yeah, the Comfort family gets escorted to this bomb shelter room, but it's set up to look like a living room, sort of. That's basically a living room you get.
Yeah, it almost reminds you of like a bunker in the 50s.
Yeah, it's
when they
totally
like bomb, like a perfect example. Bomb shelter.
Yeah. Or like 10 Cloverfield Lane or something like that, with it, something like underground bunker set up to look like a house or something.
Never saw it.
I actually haven't seen it either. I just remember the commercials. It's on my list to get to, but I just never get around to doing it. Anyway, Buddy is like really excited. He's like, Mr. Cochran himself asked us to come here because they're there to like do,
Yeah, he's stoked.
He's stoked because Cochran asked him for his opinion. Basically, he's doing like a survey group or something like that, like a control group. Like, hey, we want your opinions on these commercials. Focus group. That's what it's. Focus group.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm so excited about this. The wife's like, this is stupid. I don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they go in the room, and it's like you said, set up like living, but there's like plastic fruit and stuff. And she's like, what the fuck is this? She's just like, she's, like I said, seems drunk.
Yeah, I think she was. So he does mention how they wished, but he does say, hey, I'm a little disappointed they wouldn't take my order for masks for next year's Halloween because I like to buy in advance so I can get prepared. And then the wife, who like I said, I think she is drunk, just like, maybe there's not even going to be a Halloween next year. Ha 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 ha. And that's when the TV in the room comes on and the SS commercial starts to play again. And the TV commercial tells all the children with their SS masks to put them on and gather around the TV for the big giveaway. So little Buddy does just that. He goes to the TV. He puts on his pumpkin mask, and TV says to watch the magic pumpkin, which is accompanied by an epileptic seizure-inducing strobe light.
Yeah, it's like, watch. Put on your mask, little one. Make sure you watch.
Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was the parents at that point, I'd be like,
okay, turn the shit off.
Turn the shit off. Like, that's fucking creepy.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But
so
you can see something like that happening in the 80s, though. Like a big promotional push for something lame.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, remember
That's
Crystal,
what it was.
like Crystal Pepsi. That
right
kind of
now,
thing. Yeah.
there's no tomorrow. So shortly after, this strobe's going faster and faster and the music, blah, 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 blah. And shortly after that, little Buddy starts to grab his head and the mask looks like it's starting to melt onto his face.
And he's pulling at it.
Little Buddy falls to the floor, twitching in pain. His parents, who aren't really paying attention, finally realize that something's up and wrong. And they start to panic. Little Buddy dies. He's just dead now. And all sorts of various bugs begin to pour out of his mouth and his
jaw rips
face.
open, and there's just all kinds of snakes and bugs and shit comes flying out of the mouth.
Mother just faints to the floor. So she never really dies. She just faints, and that's the last you ever see of her. And now, like Aaron said, snakes start coming out of the dead little Buddy's mouth, complete with a giant fucking rattlesnake. The first one's like little, like maybe small gardener snakes, little small ones. But then a giant fucking rattlesnake comes out of his mouth.
And you hear like it's very stock footage sound effect of like bug noise in the background.
Yeah.
Like cicadas or something. It's a very stock.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Stock footage kind of like sound effect.
Buddy Jr. screams, runs to the door, but it's locked. Then the rattlesnake bites into his ankle. He falls over to the floor, dead immediately, which, Jesus Christ, that's one. I know rattlesnake bite can kill you, but that's instant death from that one.
This could be a mystical, ancient alien
Stonehenge superpower.
Ancient alien technology enhanced
yes.
snake.
You're right. How could I forget that?
Marshall, come on.
Jesus Christ, what's
Get
wrong
with
with me?
it. Have another drink. Get on the same level as us and Tom Atkins.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Atkins, I want to talk about his reaction to all this because he's sitting there watching it happen, and never once he does nothing. He doesn't try to fight away or get away. He doesn't tell Cochran to stop. What are you doing? What's happening? He doesn't show any signs of anger, fear, or shock. Instead, in my opinion, he looks like he's at the racetrack watching the horse he just bet on fall behind and lose, then realize he just lost all of his money. That's the look he has on his face.
He does put his fists
He's
up.
like, oh, damn it, I just lost my money.
Fists start to shake in front of his face.
And you just said, like, he's watching, like, like, oh, no.
His long shot horse lost.
No! I was like, that's exactly what he looks like. Now, holy fuck, what did I just see? I lost my bet on my horse.
That's really funny. And that's how I was last night watching some of the fights I was betting on.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably lost all your money again last night too, didn't you?
I did not. I only bet $44 because that's all I have left in my account.
Because you have a gambling problem.
I have a gambling account.
So you have a gambling problem.
But I bet all 44. I still walked away with $32.
Okay.
So I only lost 12.
Only lost 12. You know, I'm sorry, but you have a problem if you have a gambling account, an account just for gambling money. But
Regardless.
I guess it's smarter that way than I guess.
I look at the money as already spoken for.
Yeah. All right. So at this point, Atkins is now taken away. We get another montage of shots of various cities all around the country. It goes from like New York to Lincoln, Nebraska, Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, all these different ones. And we see more SS masks being grabbed and flying off the shelves. We see kids walking around the city, all their towns wearing the masks, out trick-or-treating. All while this is going on, the fucking annoying Silver Shamrock song's playing the entire time.
One more day till Halloween.
No, it's not even that. It is Halloween now. It's saying like
now it's fucking
Halloween. And they're saying, don't forget to get back home at night for the big giveaway at 9 o'clock. Get off, time to head home, kids.
Yeah, there's fucking like you said,
there's a white
vans going through the streets.
Yeah, the music is playing in the background, but not the music. But then the white vans start driving around all these.
So this is
streets.
a gigantic marketing push to get these kids to put on your Silver Shamrock masks.
You know how much money and manpower it would take
a national
for like basically what was basically a mom and pop, like self-grown. I mean, this is like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, like level marketing. Like even they in the 80s didn't do shit like this. Like to think about those of white van or people in each and every fucking city driving around the streets doing this.
This was the start of that type of behavior, that type of marketing. That was the start of that type of stuff. That's when Coke started doing that stuff. That's when Pepsi started. When McDonald's started doing that stuff. You know, that's when it really started giving that push.
I think it's very far-fetched. A company that only makes Halloween masks, or so a very seasonal thing, would have the money and manpower to do this.
Again, it just kind of speaks to the time.
Although I guess if your manpower is mechanically produced off a conveyor belt, then
but there's not a lot of competition out there.
I get that.
You know, there's only like 3 channels. There's ABC, NBC, CBS. That's it.
No, there was still cable in the early 80s. I mean, USA was
sure, but for the most part, that was it.
Dude, I will say you're right, because every single TV in this movie is the old dial one. None of them had cable. There's the dial. So there's like 4 or 5 channels.
It definitely speaks to the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's such a major undertaking to do that.
It's so obviously it's a huge campaign, and they show all the different cities that kids are wearing the Silver Shamrock.
I will say one of my favorite shots is basically what they end up using on the original cover box. But I love the shot of when they're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes.
And it's these kids. All you see is it's just black shadows, like just the kids in silhouette.
Like a reddish background.
A red, just like the sky's red because the setting sun. They're kind of walking through like the mountain, which is weird. Why are the kids trick-or-treating in the mountains? I don't know. That's fucking weird.
I was wondering that
That's
too.
That's really strange.
But it was still cool looking.
It's a great looking shot. But
like you lived in Arizona for a while. I stayed in Arizona for a couple weeks on a.
Yeah, I was in Arizona for about a year or so.
Yeah, I mean, did they have that reddish kind of like I remember a lot of like pinky,
more pinkish stuff.
Yeah, but like it was still cool.
But it's great stuff. I mean, over the mountains and stuff. But but again, you don't have kids up there wandering around trick-or-treating in the mountains. That's just weird. But again, it was a beautiful. Yeah, it was great. It was one of the best shots in the movie. So, also during that montage, we see Atkins kids wearing their masks sitting in front of their TV too. So we kind
of not Tom Atkins kids.
Yeah, he fucking cares about them anyway.
He cares for them so much.
Now we cut back to Teddy, still in her fucking coroner's office lab, and I said earlier, I swear she just lives here. We never see her outside of this office, and she's always basically in the same chair too, at the exact same spot.
Same outfit almost.
Same outfit, like she just lives
she
there.
Maybe change her pair of khakis to a pair of jeans, but she's always has the goddamn lab coat on.
You know they just shot like her scenes all in like one day. They didn't even change wardrobe or anything. Like just shoot all that shit right now. So she's on the phone with Atkins. Or trying to call Atkins at the motel, but again, she's on the phone. She's fidgeting with some charred mechanical parts. They kind of look like a parts like a watch or like a spring or something. I don't know. And the operator tells her that the call cannot be completed as dialed. So she hangs up and then calls her boss. I assume it's her boss, Roger, who she wakes up So that means either, again, at the time it gets really confusing because why is Roger, like, it sounds like he's waking up, she's waking him up like in the middle of the night, like it's 2 a.m. He's like, what do you want? I'm asleep. Why are you calling me? Blah, blah, blah. But it's like 8:30, 8 o'clock.
The only thing I think of is if you work nights.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, work.
I understand, man. I totally get that, but it's just, again, like, the time.
It was just weird, yeah.
Because this movie is so based on, like, that time, like 2 days that way, 3 days. It has to be 9 o'clock. It's all based.
It's
but now
these type of moments
what?
that I just wish they'd say one extra line, like, "Why are you calling me? You know I work nights."
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that
Exactly.
to help plug in the audience member.
Because the first time I watched, I'm like, what is it, 2 o'clock in the morning now? Because okay, that don't make, now everybody's dead. So what's the point? Like,
and it's such an easy fix.
Yeah.
And there's so many movies that are guilty of this.
Yeah, it's super easy. I agree.
Yeah, it's just a
proofreading,
easy,
guys. Just proofreading. Add one little line. It's not gonna cost anything.
Just a simple thing to say, just to keep the audience, clue in the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's still like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 1.
Yeah.
Instead of like, what do you mean?
Because I get the impression that she's there like 2 o'clock in the morning trying to go over these results, and like, oh, I gotta call him now and wake him up. But
if you call me at 2 a.m. and talk about horrible horror podcasts, I will be pissed. I mean, it's 2 a.m. The fuck is wrong with you? I will let the audience know I'm pissed at you.
Anyway, she tells him that she has something odd and she wants him to look at it. He's like, yeah, fine, I'll look at it, tomorrow morning or whatever. While she's talking to him, we see a man in a suit enter the lab from the next room over.
Uh-oh. A silver shamrock man. Yeah.
Yep. The man grabs a power drill out from a cabinet drawer because I guess they have to do a lot of handiwork in the coroner's lab.
The only thing I could think of is you may have to drill into a skull or to a body part.
I kind of get that, but it's like I would think they'd be more specialized drill. This is just like
a
fucking handyman. No, they just use regular
bro
craftsman power drills.
Bro. I saw in many things in surgeries before. My favorite is when they're screwing this guy's leg back together. They got a fucking blackened drill. Like this, like with a guy like fucking putting up a fence.
Oh, then maybe I have nothing to complain about here. Maybe that's 100% accurate, I guess.
But I remember watching that like, holy shit, you can get that at Home Depot.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, at least they're hoping they're sterilizing that shit.
Fine line
between.
between.
The doctor just brought her from home. Like, yeah, I was putting my fence right there. I got a leg I got to reattach. I was bringing my Black & Decker with me.
Now, the funny thing is that Black & Decker will make a medical edition of this. And it's basically the same fucking thing.
I believe that.
It's for medicine. It's for screwing those legs back on.
That's one of those bullshit like scams that companies do. Like, here's like the special edition drill, but all it is just painted neon green instead of black, and they slap special edition on it.
Oh yeah,
and they'll charge like an extra $100.
Oh yeah, it's just like chrome. It's like more stainless steel looking, so it looks like clean.
Yeah, it looks like
as you fucking screw someone.
It's like games do this shit all the time. Like, let's just use Mortal Kombat 11 as an example because we just got that today from our
friends at Here Comes the Spooky podcast.
Yeah,
thank you. Nachos McGuire and Cincinnati Jeff, thank you so much.
We did a little video on that before we started, but okay, so they gave us this as a gift for our 200th episode, which is awesome. But it's like, okay, so you have Mortal Kombat 11, but then if you buy like the Best Buy special edition cover art, you're paying. It's the exact same fucking thing. They just slap a different picture on it and charge
and we'll include Scorpion's, I don't know, fucking
fucktality. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm out of jokes.
Yeah, I'm out of jokes. We're 200 episodes. We've run dry. We're getting out of the left. No. Anyway, so where the fuck was I? So he grabs the drill out of this cabinet drawer, and at that point, Teddy suddenly has some sort of realization / light bulb moment. Some ding goes off in her head.
Like, these guys were robots.
Yeah, and she gets back on the phone, and she asks the operator to connect her with the sheriff. But that's when the man in the suit pops up, slams the phone down, ending her call, grabs her, forces her down to the floor, where he uses the drill to kill her by drilling into either the side of her head or her eye. But it could be either one because we don't really actually see it. But she's got the way her head's tilted. It could either been like her ear or her eyes at a weird angle. But either way,
I was
she's
really
dead.
pissed off about that, considering we've seen such good kills so far.
Well,
you know, the kills have been pretty damn good.
Here's
and
the
you get
thing.
this close-up thing. I just give it to me.
Here's the thing about that though. Granted, the kills have been unique and interesting, but they've technically been before and afters. Like, you never see the kill in progress. You see Marge get blasted in the face and then just cuts her face fucked up. You see the kid wearing a mask, he dies, and just the after effects. You never see, like, they didn't have the effects that actually have the stuff coming, like CGI. So it's a before and after.
Well, you do see the guy's face get ripped up. Then you do
Okay,
see the
that
guy's
one.
head get pulled off.
Okay. Those,
So,
yeah.
you know, I mean, I see what you're saying.
But
But
again,
they're-
also those again, they could have done with another dummy, I guess.
yeah,
drilled
a
into
wider
dummy.
shot.
A wider shot.
I just wish they would have done that.
It might have just been, but maybe it's one of those. Like, well, we spent all these money on these other kill shots. You got
Sure.
top money somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
everyone understands how a drill works.
Yeah.
They know she's fucked.
So we cut back to Santa Mira. It's now 7:30 p.m. according to a clock. Night has fallen. We go to a small room where Cochrane's standing in front of Atkins, who is now strapped to a chair. Cochrane gets all again Bond villainy here, and he tells
But
Atkins.
this is a good monologue.
It is. Cochrane tells Atkins that he loves a good joke, and the best joke ever, or what better joke is a joke on the children, but there is a better reason for what he's doing. It's not just about the joke, playing no joke and there's a better reason for it. And then he goes to give Atkins a history lesson about the origins of Halloween and Samhain, and that the last great festival of Samhain took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with blood of animals and children.
And Tom Atkins, like, you mean sacrifices?
Yeah, that these sacrifices were a way of witchcraft. That's what Cochrane's saying now. A way of controlling their environment. Cochrane continues on saying that it's time again for the second. It's now time again, but that they don't really control things. The planets do, and that they are in alignment. It is time again, and the world is going to change tonight. Again, what is going on? What? So we have mentions of ancient alien technology mixed with one mention of the word witchcraft in this movie. One. Astronomy or something, like planets are aligned, like was Jupiter in retrograde and Venus is fucking Mars or some shit like that. I don't know. What is happening? I am so confused about the point of any of this. Like, it's never made clear. I don't get it. I don't understand what is happening in this movie. I don't get the point of it. Nothing's ever made clear as to how this is all linked together.
But does it have to? Because the guy does say subtle things like, you know, a little of this, a little of that, and you wouldn't believe what tricks we had to pull to get the Stonehenge
here. But still,
you know,
like,
so he's just kind of like leaving it up to just, you know, suspension
I'm
of
okay
disbelief.
with that part, like how I don't need the logistics of how they shipped Stonehenge there, like, as unbelievable as it is. But I'm fine with that. But when it comes to the actual plot and how this all ties, yeah, it matters to me. Like, I wonder what the fuck is happening. How are they explaining this? I don't get any of it. So anyway, at this point, Cochrane places a skeleton mask on Atkins, turns on the TV in the room, and again we see a bit of the original Halloween movie on the TV. Cochrane wishes Atkins a happy Halloween, then leaves the room, closing the door behind him.
I do love you. Happy Halloween.
Yes, basically.
Man, he fucking
he
nails
crushes
it. Though.
it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say at the end, but yeah, he Daniel Hurley, he crushes it in this movie. He does a really good job. As soon as he leaves, Atkins starts looking around the room while trying to wiggle free.
And I do love this scene because the movie Halloween is playing.
Yeah.
And they're using the music from Halloween to set the tone for what's happening in the scene.
Yeah.
And I really like that little, there's this little playing around. John Carpenter's like, I'm going to do something fun.
I'm just lazy. I don't want to write new music. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
like,
gonna use this.
we're just going to use
We're
this.
just
But
gonna
if
use
we're
this,
going to have the TV playing it, it's not going to be a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it.
So as soon as he's looking around, and the clock in the room says 7:49. He's able to scoot the chair closer to the TV. He gets close enough to where he can use his legs to smash the TV screen in, just shattering it.
Dude.
That's a fucking mule kick and a half, dude, from that position. Like, how does he do
need
it?
my booze.
Exactly. That's withdrawal. That's withdrawal power. Got the Shakes power going through me, man.
Yes,
He then somehow pulls out a pair of tweezers that he uses to cut through the straps. I'm like, holy fuck, where are these tweezers made from? Are these adamantium tweezers? again, we've talked about some medical grade equipment. I've never seen tweezers cut through thick black straps.
Obviously, you've never seen medical grade tweezers.
I have not apparently seen medical grade tweezers.
They're pretty much the same as normal tweezers.
I was mad at that. That's what I thought. Just like you just spilled the beans that medical grade drills are the same as drills you get at Home Depot. We're on to you, the medical industry. We're on to you. I feel like I can open up a hospital with the shit I have in my garage.
Those medical tweezers are like $300.
I get a pair from some beauty store for like $1. Do the same fucking shit. But he somehow uses them to cut through these thick black straps. And it's not like tape. And these are like straps. Like shit you use
It's
on
like seatbelt
material.
material.
Like seatbelt material. Like stuff you use like strap down things in the back of a truck or something. You know, it's...
Finely weaved nylon.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, Atkins gets his hands free enough to remove the mask from his head and then pulls off one of the most impossible feats I've ever seen on TV, on a movie.
My wife was like kind of in and out of the room, you know, not really paying attention, and she was quiet the whole time. And she doesn't like say too much when I'm watching horror movies, and she's not that big a fan. But I remember her walking by and she looks up and she sees Tom Atkins throw the mask perfectly over the camera, just nails it, and he's strapped down. His arms
are still strapped. Basically, the only thing
he flicks his wrist. He flicks his wrist, and it lands perfectly on there. And then she goes, "Oh bullshit!"
That's perfect. That's it.
Which was hilarious because I laughed. I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so much.
That's the one that you shoot back because it is bullshit. There's no fucking way that happens ever. But anyway, the mask lands on a part of it, blocks out the view of the camera. He then frees himself somehow and exits the room via the large air duct. Doesn't go out the door. He goes out through the air duct.
How does he get through the air duct? He just rips that
he
fucking
rips
thing
it off
off.
with his drunken withdrawal powers. He hulks out and
just loosens the bolt just a little bit, and then
Atkins drink. It just rips this fucking thing off the.
Love it.
And as he leaves, the clock reads 8:10. To go back to the control center, one of the lab coat minions tells Cochran about the newly blacked out security camera. Cochran sends some of his men in suits to go check it out, and they find the mask on the floor and the vent cover. They hold it up to the screen to show Cochran on the camera.
Cochran just goes,
Yeah, he doesn't really act. So now Atkins is going all die-hard John McClane style here as he's crawling through ventilation ducts throughout this whole building. And then it just cuts him running along the rooftop of the factory, just running along the rooftops. He finds another way back into the building, which made me think, why leave the building in the first place if you're just going to go turn around and go back in? Why not just exit the duct in a different room? Like, that was the weird...
How do you know where you're going, though? You know, honestly, if I was like, oh, shit, I'm on the roof. Okay.
There are ducts, you can see through them. You can see what room you're in.
Yes, yeah.
You can see exactly what room you're in and where you're going.
Still. Do you want to be, like, caught climbing? Whatever, I didn't care.
It's just weird. I thought it was odd. But so he's making his way back through, and he's hiding from a patrolling group of men in suits. He then uses the phone to call his ex-wife to warn her about the mask and to get rid of them, not to let the kids wear them.
Yeah, he's trying to save his kids.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's the one thing he's...
Yeah. Good.
Finally.
The least he could do.
Yeah, the least he could do. The very least he could do.
Call his wife and say...
Listen, I hate my kids, but I don't want them to die.
But the mom is like, fuck you,
Tom.
You're
You're drunk again. You've been drinking again. She's like, fuck
I bought the better mask. You're a fucking drunk asshole.
You're just jail. Don't get rid of the mask. I spent money on those. Fuck you.
Oh, dude. I just felt so bad for him at that point.
I thought he deserved it. Like, it's his own fault. Like, but yeah. But she gives him the business hard and then just hangs up on him. Just click.
And you can tell he's like he's selling it though, man. He's like sweating, like, oh my god.
After this, he gets off the phone, and it just cuts to him finding the room that Ellie's in. He's on the phone. Boom! Now he's in Ellie's room. She's still strapped to the table and unconscious. He goes right in. The door's not even locked. Like, nobody locked. Again, they don't have terrible security in this room. The doors aren't even locked. And he just goes in and frees her with zero trouble whatsoever. Just
with that Tom Atkins charm.
Yeah. He charms the straps right off of her. Meanwhile, Cochran is watching him free Ellie on the security monitors at the command center, and Cochran does like, okay, go get him. Or so he does send some more meetings.
Enough of this bullshit.
Atkins leads Ellie through the factory back to the large warehouse where the command center is. They hide behind all the stacked boxes there, and even use a rolling rack of masks to cover their movement. And, like, it's so fucking cartoonish. It's the equivalent of the old moving bush gag you see in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. And, like, you know what they should have done? It would have been better is they went Metal Gear and just hit underneath a fucking box. Just creeped underneath a box. Because that's exactly what this shit is.
I would have liked to have seen, or heard anyway, when they were walking by with the rolling rack, of just that xylophone effect. You know,
like on their tippy
like
toes.
Scooby-Doo or something. Yeah, Scooby-Dooing on by. Beep, 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 beep. That'd be great.
And, like, how has nobody seen this? Because the room is, yes, it's a giant room, but there's so many people in it all over the place. Atkins tells Ellie, like, hey, wait here. He sneaks up to the command center and hijacks the computers. And, again, all right, everything about this is bullshit. Because, first of all...
It's a switchboard with probably 50 separate buttons on it.
I haven't gotten
and he
that
just
yet.
like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah. First of all, there's like 20 people in this area. And the fact that none of them see him is bullshit, especially given the fact that there's one shot. One, Tom Atkins is not a fucking ninja, nor wearing dark clothes. He's wearing a bright tan jacket. It's like almost a members only. And the command center is like the most brightly lit area in this movie. There's lights everywhere. On top of that, we can see Cochran and his minions standing nearby. And in this shot, there's like 3 of them, like 6 feet away from Atkins, just right there. And you see one shot where the men in suits are looking right at Atkins, and Atkins, they practically make eye contact with each other, and nobody still sees Atkins. He goes up to this fucking computer, which doesn't even have a keyboard on. It's just buttons with flashing lights, like you said.
I've got an explanation as to why Atkins wasn't seen.
All right, please give this to me.
Okay, so we've already established that the majority of these guys are robots, right? These are robots looking around for Tom Atkins. They're looking for a human life system, a human life force, right? Tom Atkins has a fucking aura of booze around him and alcohol just flowing out of his veins and out of his skin. And they was kind of, maybe they might look twice and be like, what is that? Oh, there's no way a human can
that's not life form.
There's no way a human
alcohol.
can survive with that much alcohol in his system. But no, it's fucking Tom Atkins, baby. He's gonna save the day.
He's got a booze cloaking device that hides his life signature from organic
exactly,
or from synthetic beans.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. But like, and then like you said, the keyboard he goes up to, there's not a keyboard. It's not a screen. It's just a console of buttons with flashing lights on it.
And he just starts pushing them randomly. Like I got this.
Randomly. like how does he? I don't know how he's being programmed.
None of them are labeled.
He's not even a computer guy. He's just a doctor. Nothing's labeled. He's just randomly pushing buttons and hoping for the best. That's that's all it could possibly be.
Well,
somehow
he
fucking
nails
to do
it.
He does it. So by the way, but anyway, after sabotaging the computers, which causes the SS commercial to start playing on all the TV monitors circling around the command center, he sneaks away, still unseen. He grabs a box of the SS logo buttons as he creeps away.
I love it when he creeps away because it's like this old man jog.
It's so again. There's nothing stealth about it. He's a big dude in a bright tan jacket, and like, how is he not seen? What is happening?
Just lumbering through.
It's like the equivalent of, like, I love the Cocker. It's like, it's kind of like the equivalent of, like, when you let it's like a kid playing, like, just let him have this.
Yeah.
He needs this. just let him go. However, he is finally spotted, but he and Ellie run up some stairs that lead up to the catwalks, like, high above the warehouse floor. A few men in suits do go after him a little bit, but everyone else just seems to ignore them and goes about their business.
They're trying to stop the commercial from playing.
Cocker himself just stands there watching with zero sense of concern and urgency, really. Atkins starts dumping all the SS logo buttons out of the box, and they start raining down on everyone below. But as they pass through the view of the TV screens, they start exploding in blasts of
shooting out lasers and
blue electricity, because it's the fucking 80s, which kill all the men in lab coats instantly, just zap dead. All the electronics in the command center then start to explode. Even the men in suits, which aren't even nearby, they're on the stairs going after Atkins.
They start puking up.
They just fall over dead. I don't think they
Tapioca.
even puke up. They just fall over dead.
There was one that fell over. Like,
Did they? I missed that. Okay.
Huge.
I saw them all fall over dead. The SX music starts accelerating again, playing faster and faster. Cochran still just stands there looking around. Now this rumbling noise is heard coming from the Stonehenge stone.
But Cochran does look up.
Yeah.
And
not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Good.
And now, shit gets even fucking weirder because Stonehenge is rumbling. The command center, which is set, like I said, in a circle where all the computers and TVs, even though we just saw them all explode, are now completely fine, by the way. A bright blue ring of energy forms running through, like linking all the TVs together, and it begins to spin around in a circle. And then Cochran, who has the strangest look on his face, I seriously cannot describe the look he has, but it's certainly something, turns, looks up, and this is where he gives Atkins...
He glances up at Tom Atkins.
The subtlest of smile, just the smallest smile.
And gives him a little golf clap.
A slow golf clap. And then, with that, that's when Stonehenge, the stone, starts to glow blue. Like... And a giant beam of blue energy. Now, this is like life force shit coming out. This is all life force.
Yeah.
Like, giant beam of blue energy shoots out from the ring of energy of the command center that's spinning around. And a second beam shoots out from the Stonehenge stone. Both of the beams strike into Cochran, then he starts glowing blue. Then seems to turn into stone himself.
Like a bluey white stone.
And then he just...
With eyes, he's kind of smiling. Like
I don't
this,
know
like,
what the fuck is happening.
He was like, this is it.
This is fucking life force shit. And then he just evaporates, I guess, and vanishes into thin air.
The ether,
He just disappears. Like, what the fuck is happening? What is going on? What the shit, man? I don't know. And that's not enough either. That fucking nonsense doesn't end here, because the Stonehenge stone, then it fucking explodes. The stone explodes. How? Why? Huh? I don't know. The Stonehenge stone, kaboom, gone. The explosion sets the whole warehouse on fire. We cut to Atkins and Ellie running away from the burning factory.
In a horrible...
Dear God, the special effects are terrible.
Oh, it's you can tell it's like stretched. It's weird. You can tell they like stretch, like they put the...
They filmed them running away from a building, and then they added the fire in post, and it looks bad.
Everything's stretched out. Everything's warped. It's really bad looking.
Yeah. Like, it's so outdated.
For certain things they do so well, this was so bad.
Yes. So now we jump to Atkins and Ellie in a car driving through the night. A woman on the radio gives a weather and time report saying that it's 8:48, which is a really odd time to give a weather and time announcement, because normally that's done like 8:30 on an even number. I was like, 8:48? Who does that? That's weird. 8:50 would make sense, but 8:48? Anyway, odd thing. Doesn't make sense. Just an odd thing. Then
it was the 80s.
Yeah, then a male voice comes on saying, all right, kids, time to hurry home. Time for the get to your
Get ready
TVs.
to watch this Silver Shamrock commercial.
Yeah, Atkins is saying that they have to do something. They have to tell someone. And at this point, we see Ellie is just kind of going comatose. She's just sitting there with like no expression on her face, just staring off straight ahead. Atkins asks her if she's all right. She turns and looks at him and then just attacks Atkins. She grabs him by the head and the face. Kind of looking like she's trying to snap his neck or rip his head off. I don't know, but it's awkward.
Not jailbait. She's been turned.
Yeah, Atkins is trying to fight her off. The car is swerving back and forth all over the road. They run off the road, crash into a tree. Atkins flings his door open and just kind of falls out of the car.
I love it.
That one did make me giggle.
Yeah.
He scrambles back and then looks into the car and sees that Ellie's arm is gone. Ellie's gone, but her arm has been ripped off in the crash and is stuck to the inside door handle of the passenger side.
And there's like weird yellow goo hanging out of it.
Atkins starts walking around to the other side to get a better look, and we can briefly see at this point that there's wires sticking out of her severed arm. But that's when Atkins gets grabbed by Ellie, who has him by the neck and starts to choke him. Atkins is able to reach back into the trunk and grab a tire iron, which he uses to beat off Ellie. He smashes her with it a few times. Ellie stumbles back, and we see here that her arm, where her arm was, is now just some mechanical wires and a broken metal humerus bone.
Hey, there it is.
A bit of yellowish orange goo leaks out of her mouth. Atkins walks up to her and pulls a Cassie Cage selfie fatality. He backhands Ellie's head with the crowbar, knocking her head off, revealing more wires and like all these synthetic parts. Large amounts of goo start shooting out of her neck stump. Ellie, with her head dangling by some wires, still falls to the ground dead.
It's cool.
Yeah. Atkins walks away, gets back in the car, There's a shot of Ellie on the ground, her body lying assed up with her head a few feet away with her eyes still moving, looking around like the zombie heads in the governor's fish tank.
Oh, nice. Nice reference.
Atkins reaches over to close the passenger side door, but in doing so, he awakens the severed arm, which comes to life and attacks Atkins. It grabs him by the neck and starts choking him. Atkins manages to get out of the car again, the arm still clenched around his neck. After some more struggle, he's able to pry it off of him, and he throws his side into the grass.
I didn't like that part.
I didn't like that either. So now, with all that over, you would think that this all is over now, right? We count down, can't possibly be. Fuck no, it ain't over. This shit sound of craziness just won't stop like Chipotle diarrhea.
Dude, you gotta stop the Silver Shamrock commercial. That's what the whole thing's been boiling towards.
By this time, it's all. There's no way. It'd be done and over with by now. It's so much time has passed. But Atkins turns around and gets attacked by Ellie's fucking headless body, but the body is strangling.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, the headless body is going, but
she wants one more ride in the sack with that Tom Atkins. She wants one more hit of that Tommy D.
So the headless body finally kind of limps or loses energy where it seems to die on its own. It collapses to the ground. The hand goes limp. Atkins at this point says, fuck the car, even though he was going to try to get it, and he takes off running into the night. We cut back to the gas station that we saw way back in the beginning of the movie where the same gas station attendant is working. Atkins runs up saying he needs to make an emergency call or something like that, and Atkins gets on the phone with, I guess, a local TV station. How the fuck he knows their phone number is beyond me, but he's sure, why the fuck not?
Yeah, because it's getting right about the
I get that 100%, but like it's not like operator. I need the phone number for blah 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 TV station.
Yeah, he gets a hold of the head of TV.
It's like, yeah, I need the head of NBC.
I need the
right
head
now.
of I need the head of TV.
Yeah, all the TV. Like he has a direct line to it from this gas station apparently.
I love it.
And he's on the phone and he's like, pleading with whoever he's talking to on the other end. Like, you guys pull the SS commercial. You guys stop the commercial. In the background, we see these kids wearing the SS masks come running up. Again, trick-or-treating in the weirdest places. They're trick-or-treating at a gas station.
In the gas station. And the guy was ready, though. He knew some trick-or-treaters.
Right, he had a hubcap of candy.
That's right.
It's a hubcap of candy.
And he was giving some candy to him, and then he's like, oh, yeah, the TV, yeah, the commercial's on. Go watch, kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, they got the Silver Shamrock masks on.
And I get the fact he's ready. That's cool. But it's just like, again, what kids are go trick or treating?
It was just weird.
It
was just weird.
Like, I've never gone trick or treating at a gas station.
And where's mom and dad?
Exactly. There's no parents escort these kids. It's the 80s. There's
It's the 80s, baby.
Which is fine because when I was trick or treating, once I got the members like, just go,
That's
go.
True, we did.
We just went.
I think one of my favorite trick or treating memories of you is when you sprayed pepper spray.
Fuck
back in
you.
your face.
Fuck you.
Shall I tell the story really quick?
Fuck, go ahead. You already opened it up.
All right, yeah. So we're trick or treating, and like the neighborhood's fine, but it's like we're kids going out trick or treating. We're like 12, something around
like that,
there, and we're going out on our own. And Marshall's parents gave him pepper spray to defend himself from prowlers or something, just in case something happened. And we're going down the street, and there's like a bunch of teenagers who are peeling out in their car, and they're yelling out the windows that it's like, motherfuckers, happy Halloween, yeah! Like cruising down the street, and they're like, whoa, it was scary. It was like, holy shit. We're all like jumped up, and we're like, oh fuck. This is how I remember it. And I turn around, I see Marshall. He's like, ah. I'm like, what happened? He's like, ah. I'm like, what's going on? He throws the pepper spray, and I'm like, holy shit, were you trying to use a pepper spray? We went into someone's house. And I'm like, yeah, my friend sprayed himself with the pepper spray. And they cleaned him up, and we gave us candy, and off we went. And I asked, again, this is what I remember. I was asking, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? He's like, well, those fucking teenagers drove by, they got my pepper spray, and I wanted to see if it worked. So I sprayed it, and it blew back into my face.
Yeah, okay. All right, you got that part. Because I was like, I wasn't like, just like, I don't remember the teenagers in the car.
Oh, I remember that because it was scary. There was a whole bunch of teenagers yelling at us, and we're 12.
Yeah, I get it.
So we're big enough to be teenagers, but immature enough to be kids.
Yeah.
So you see a whole bunch of teenagers yelling at you from their car. You're like, holy shit!
Who at that age are too cool to trick or treat.
Yeah.
But no, I do. What I remember is we're walking around in the area, and I was like, I want to try it. I don't remember the kids in the car, but I remember pulling it out. I was like, I just want to spray it, see how it works. I want to spray it, and either either I sprayed into. I don't remember the wind. I think what happened is, it might have just blown back at me, or I had the thing.
The cap backwards.
The cap was tilted back when I put it, sprayed me in the face. But yeah, I sprayed myself with mace one Halloween night. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. And I remember going to the stranger's house, like tears, like, oh, I can't get like, dear God, what happened? Like he sprayed himself with mace. She's like, what? I was like, yeah.
Oh, what a great story to tell in our 200 episode.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so kids trick-or-treating at the gas station watching the SS commercial on the TV. And at this point, what is about to happen is probably the best Tom Atkins moment that I've seen. He's going crazy at this point, yelling on the phone, trying to get the commercial pulled. It's a pretty great scene. On the TV, the commercial starts to play, but then it stops and says, please stand by or something like that.
Yeah.
So a kid's like, fuck this. He changes the channel. And it changes the channel with the commercial still on that channel. And it starts to play again. But that channel then goes, please stand by. So, geez,
it looks like it's working. It looks like Tom Atkins may save the day.
So the kid changes the channel again, and the SS commercial is still playing on his third channel now. Atkins tells the person on the phone, the third commercial is still on. You have to stop it. You gotta stop it. It's the third. You got, and he's selling it, dude. He's crushing this scene, and this is where he really kicks up the crazy factor. He starts yelling, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Ah, stop it!" He's just going crazy. It kind of reminded me of like the Batista "Give me what I want" moment. He's like, "Give me what I want! Give me what! Stop it! Stop it!" And he's just going nuts. This rant. But this time the commercial doesn't seem to get stopped. The TV shows the magic pumpkin come up and the strobe effects start going. The music's picking up, and the camera just goes to black. It's going back. Yeah, it goes to black. And with Atkins screaming, "Stop it!" Cut to black. Okay. Roll credits. That's the movie. Holy crap. Okay. That's Halloween 3.
That was a good ending.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
I love that ending. I think it was a good ending.
All right, so.
Did he save the day? Did he not? We don't know.
I'll say this for afterwards. So that just brings us to our favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right, Aaron, what we got? What we have for favorite kills for this week?
While there weren't a lot of kills,
no, there were not.
They were very memorable. The ones we did have, and honestly, I'm going to have to go with the Ellie's dad in the hospital getting his soft eye holes penetrated by get fingered in the soft eye holes. How about that? Getting fingered in the soft eye holes. Grabbing a handful of skull and just ripping it out. That's my favorite kill.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the one everybody remembers, the most iconic from this movie everybody saw is Little Buddy's.
Yeah.
The big
Buddy
one,
Jr.
Buddy Jr. But yeah, I actually gonna go with. I think I'm going with you too. Ellie's dad.
Really?
At the beginning, the skull, because we've never seen that type of kill before, but the eyes and ripping the skull in half, like that's pretty cool. I guess part of me wishes it would have been a little more graphic, like you actually saw like actual like the head count more than just the shift. You saw more like an actual rip off or something like that. But still, it was unique, and it was the most actually when you actually see everything. Almost everything else was just a before and after type thing. So yeah, my favorite. I'm going with Ellie's dad too. So that was quick and easy for that one. Let's move on to odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, so ratings. IMDb gives it a 4.9 out of 10. So we'll basically call it a 5.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes has a 42% on the thermometer, on the official thermometer, with a 27% audience score.
Wow, a 27% audience score?
27%.
Oh.
Amazon gives it a 4.4 out of 5, though, so much higher on Amazon. Plot keywords are 145 plot keywords.
Please tell me High Life is one of them.
Oh, shit. It's not what I wrote down. I don't think it was. Some of the weird ones were lots of city names. That's the plot keyword, so that's retarded.
Yeah. You had to drop retard for a 200th episode. How are you doing so good? This man cannot stop saying that word. He just can't.
Drill in the head. psychotronic film.
Psychotronic. Boo, 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 boo. Psychotronic.
Grindhouse film, which I don't consider this Grindhouse, and I don't think it's psychotronic either because I don't even really know what that is, but it doesn't.
Well, I remember I defined it.
I don't remember, but
it was.
It's weird. It's something weird. And this is not to me. It doesn't seem even female nudity, nipples, black teddy, sex in bed, sucking breast, and breast suckling are both different plot keywords.
Breast suckling. Oof.
Suckling. Yeah.
It just makes me think of Tom Atkins going. Isn't there booze in here?
Yeah, he's probably thinking there's booze.
I thought there was whiskey. I thought there was some old crow in here. Come on.
She laxates high life. So, all right, moving on to trivia. Now, good God, there was a shit ton of trivia that I found out for this. So, and honestly, I could not go through all of it.
It's funny because I have some trivia in my brain cells that if you don't have, I'm going to provide.
All right, well, first one is we're going to go back to that bullshit mask shot that Melissa said was bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently it took 40 takes to get that shot for Atkins to throw get the mask up there.
I like the fact that they had him do that.
Yeah, like, why did they just like have him there and then it cut? All right, now somebody just tossed it on there. But I guess there was a watch where they actually had him do it, apparently.
That's hilarious. 40?
40.
That's hilarious.
I'm surprised it took that. Wasn't more than that. But anyway. The gas station scene in the film can also be seen in John Carpenter's The Fog. So, again, he used the same location. The small town of Santa Mira is also the setting for the 1956 invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Sweet.
The Silver Shamrock Factory was a real-life milk factory.
Gross.
In an interview with the Pittsburgh Press newspaper shortly before the film's release, Tom Atkins told the hometown publication that he didn't know how the movie was going to end because they shot a couple of different endings, supposedly. Also, supposedly, Deborah Hill was the one that suggested Tom Atkins for the role of Daniel Chalice. The original writer of the story was Nigel Neal, but he sued the producers to take his name off the movie after seeing how violent it was. But it's not that violent. I mean, it's
right.
Like the snakes coming up is really just kind of demented and disturbed and messed up. But it's not like gory violence.
You pussy.
Yeah.
Put your name on that.
Like
you
Halloween
pussy.
2 is more violent. Friday the 13th is more violent. I mean, if you think about, people stabbings and head breaking. I don't know, but it's a weird. But that was just
it all comes down to semantics.
Yeah,
but
it's personal preference.
Pussy.
Yeah. The Silver Shamrock theme is played 14 times throughout the movie.
That's it?
Yeah, it seems like a lot more than that.
Man.
This film is included on film critic Roger Ebert's most hated list. The film takes place around Halloween 1982. The children in the film are told to wear their mask and watch TV at 9 p.m. on Halloween night, at which time the chip in the mask would be activated. But in reality, the film Halloween from 1978 was broadcast on NBC at 9 p.m. on Sunday, October 31st, 1982.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there you go.
Awesome.
That's kind of cool. The fluid coming out of the robot's mouth is orange juice. Now, talking about the ending, we can talk about this here because after Daniel yells "stop it" on the phone at the very end of the movie, the screen cuts to black, and then the credits roll. Originally, the ending theme was going to be played during the credits. Instead, it was supposed to be the scream of millions of children being murdered that were going to play over the sound of credits. Director Tommy Lee Wallace decided not to add this so the ending could be more ambiguous and add a possibility that they were saved in the end. When lead actor Tom Atkins saw this new ending, he was much more satisfied with the film in spite of the critical reception, and likes to imagine his character's struggles were not in vain.
Yeah, because I think even Cincinnati Jeff had mentioned this, or someone else who's met Tom Atkins and asked him, so did you save the day in Halloween 3? And he goes, of course I did.
I don't know. I like the idea of if him failing, and if it just ended with blackout, like all these kids just screaming. Like that to me would have been like, that would have been a pretty.
Damn.
That's an intense. Damn ending. I like that idea. All right, so that's all the odds and ends again. One I skipped over that I'm going to talk about right now because you mentioned it because you asked about the voice, and so I'm assuming you're talking about the voice on the phone and sometimes the PA system. A lot of people sometimes credit saying it's Jamie Lee Curtis's voice.
Yes.
However, I saw trivia. In fact, it said yes, it is Jamie Lee Curtis. But then I also saw another snippet. In fact, it says despite what everybody thinks, it is not Jamie Lee Curtis. And Jamie Lee Curtis was asked about this, and she herself declined, saying it was not her voice.
I find that interesting, considering my wife, again, who was just like in the room, And she goes, "Is that Jamie Lee Curtis?" I was like, "Holy shit, you picked up on that?" She's like, "Yeah, I guess."
I listened to them like, it does sound like Jamie Lee, but I've seen contradicting points on that, so I wasn't gonna say it because some say it is. So even on IMDb, she's listed uncredited as voice on phone or something like that. But then there was a piece of trivia I found that specifically countered that, and even said Jamie Lee Curtis herself denied that it was her voice.
Now, is there a quote from her, or is it just they say that she? I'm curious. Like, where's this? Wait, show me your sources, Marshall.
I don't have the source, like the quote right now, but so I didn't. But there is some controversy to that. So
other fun piece of trivia: Marge,
yes,
the woman who played Marge,
yeah,
is Tom Atkins' wife.
Oh,
it's his first wife.
His first wife.
And in the scene, like he talked about how odd it was working with the gal who played Ellie and like being in bed with her and being naked with her, and his wife is literally in the other room, in the motel room right next door.
Speaking of that sex with Ellie, that's another thing I found. Apparently that their intimate scenes in the hotel room was like, that was the first time she met Tom Atkins on set. That was her first time set. The first time she met Atkins, is like, well, gotta do the sex scene right now. Some of you never met.
Go for it, baby.
So yeah. All right.
It's like, hi, my name's Tom Atkins. Nice to meet me.
Nice to meet me. I'm gonna fuck you now. All right. With that said, we do get to move on and play the budget game.
Woo!
Time for Aaron to blow his wad with the budget game.
200th episode budget game. I'm awesome about this. This is exciting. So Aaron, what is your guess for the budget of the 1982 Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
I did not see the budget, but I think it's like it's up there because from what I understand, John Carpenter did not want to do Halloween 2.
Right.
He didn't want to do Halloween 2 the way the studio wanted to do Halloween 2, with Michael Myers returning and more Michael Myers. He wanted to do something like this. He wanted to have an anthology. He wanted to like have,
right,
John Carpenter's Halloween 1, 2, 3, but it's just like each one's a different story. So he finally got a chance to do that after the success of Halloween, the success of Halloween 2, and so they gave him a budget of, I'm going to say, $17 million, and he created Season of the Witch.
All right. Well, for the first time in a while, I get to say, you fucking blew your load big time on this one. Way off. The budget of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, $2.5 million.
Wow. Well, I gotta say they did really well for $2.5 million.
But I'll let you try to redeem yourself here.
I'm kind of curious what $2.5 million is in
1982
today. Yeah.
So, do you want to take a guess at the U.S. box office gross? U.S. gross of the movie.
So it's gonna come down to, did it make money or not? I think word of mouth spread pretty quick, saying Michael Myers isn't in this movie.
All right, Dave Chappelle.
Shit. So they just spread it around real fast that Michael Myers wasn't in it. So I'm gonna say it made its money back, but it didn't make. I'm gonna say $5 million.
$5 million. All right. Now on this one, you did the opposite. You came in way under, because this surprised me even. Because everybody knows or keeps hearing about how much of a critical failure this was.
Yes.
Well, critical failure.
Yes.
And it's much of a failure. Total gross in the United States, $14,400,000. So it did, for $2.5 million, made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which surprised me, because I was like, oh my god, it bombed. I always assumed it bombed at the box. It was just terrible. But again, I think it's because everybody went there to see it. Probably made most of its money in the opening weekend.
And people didn't believe it.
Want to see
It's
Michael Myers is back.
I'm still going to see it. Hold on.
Opening weekend, and then it probably bottomed out after that. But there you go. So it made quite a bit of money for being such a critical failure that it was.
Yeah. And I think we haven't talked enough about how John Carpenter. I wish. Just think about what could have been.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll talk about more later.
We'll talk about that later. Okay. Moving on to this week's 5-star reviews.
Ooh.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Good versus bad, right versus wrong, light versus dark. In the end, when the dust settles, who will be left standing after Mortal Kombat combat?
right, now this was a Herculean task to get through this.
I'm sure there were
Holy fuck.
hundreds and hundreds of them.
985 total reviews on Amazon. I try to get through as many of those as I possibly fucking could.
Why do you even try? Why don't you just like pick randos? And
Because some of the I can't just pick randoms because I might pick a random one that just fucking sucks. So I just can't. Anyway, 72% are 5-star. Only 5% are 1-star, which that blew my mind. I really did. So starting with 5 stars from B in Alabama.
B in Alabama.
Rating the movie itself based on the fact Michael Myers isn't in it shows a lack of knowledge on your own self. Okay, first of all, let me get this shit out right now. All you motherfucking horror aficionados, horror snobs can take this shit and shove it up your fucking ass. I am so sick of these people who are like, if you don't like Halloween 3, that's because you just don't like good horror. You just don't like because Michael Myers isn't in it. So fuck you, because I'm better than you. I know more than you. So many of these 5-star reviews were shit like that. I read so many of this shit. Like, you snobby pig. Fuck you, assholes. I want to slap you in the face. But that said, I will continue on with these reviews.
I like the passion.
Those of us who know just roll our eyes. The franchise was originally planned to be an anthology, which he misspells. He spells anthropology. It's supposed to be an anthropology. If you're gonna get on your high horse, get your spelling and grammar right, you fucker.
Goddamn autocorrect.
Again, everybody knows that nowadays. I'm pretty sure everybody does. But it turned into another masked killer series. The finger waggers are also wrong because Michael Myers does make a cameo in it if you're paying attention. This is a great horror film because it messes with your mind and relies on great actors, lines, and less on visuals like blood and nudity to sell it to you. The film was before my time, and really it's time too. 5 stars. Brian E. entitled The Runt of the Litter. And I edited this one down. So I edited some of these down. Disregarding the whole Myers storyline is really this is really an excellent movie for most people that most people don't give credit to. As a standalone movie, the plotline and acting is excellent. People should give this one a chance and see this again for what it is, a scream gem that deserves credit as a great film. That's better. That's a little more well put. Not as snobby and bitchy or pretentious, whatever you want to say. David Mandroid writes, if horror fans supported these underdogs, the movies that challenge convention, everything would be as right as rain. 5 stars.
Weird.
Drew Johnson, I don't just mean of the Halloween namesake. I mean Halloween themed movies that happen on or about Halloween. This is the divergent movie in the John Carpenter canon and the best as far as I'm concerned. Mike Myers is nowhere to be found, and that's fine. I never liked him in Cat in the Hat anyway. 5 stars.
Wow.
Yeah. From Terry Keeley, I rented it for my teenage daughter because she had never seen it. She didn't like it, but it's in the Halloween series, so you have to see it at least once. 5 stars. Funny. That's not a 5-star review at all.
That's pretty good.
But that's funny. All right. So 1-star reviews because this movie's so polarizing. You know, you got to go both sides with this one. Derek Jenkins writes, I am aware and others are that there's no Michael Myers in it. That still doesn't excuse this horrid mess of a movie to even ever get made. I watched it from beginning to end. The one question on my mind, how the hell did this even get a Halloween name attached to it? Actually, scratch it. I don't even want to know at all. I know it seems to be the case in loads of horror movies, but what the freak is the deal with having to have a shower scene? Is it really necessary? If the actors want to sleep together, just get it over with. Speaking of it, didn't take dude long in this movie to get with a woman he'd met maybe a few days before.
Fuck no, it didn't.
Also, I'm sure others knew Mike Myers wasn't in the movie, but it still doesn't give it an excuse to be an utter horrible piece of crap. I've never given a movie or anything else only 1 star before, but this one deserves it and gets that honor. 1 star. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Not. He ends it with a not joke.
He brings in the not.
Brings in the not joke. I should do the air horn for not jokes. Jesus Christ. All right. Brian Potter. Arf. Ugh. Barf. Yuck. This garbage. And unfortunately, not the kind of garbage I enjoy. Stupid, nonsensical, poor acting all around. Weak plot. Not remotely scary. Just bad. 1 star. From Drarog.
I like you trying to pronounce this word.
Darragh. Darragh Murray. A shame, a crying shame. The producers of Halloween 1 and 2, Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, decided at the time, since Michael Myers was killed off, they should try a different idea. How wrong they were to do that. At the time, the cinemas and theaters worldwide were a crowd of obsessive horror fans expecting to see their idol, their hero, Michael Myers, return once more. Unfortunately, what they saw was entirely different. This film bombed big time at the box office, much to Carpenter and Deborah Hill's disappointment. What they needed to do is bring back Michael Myers, and that's exactly what they did in Halloween 4, which saved Carpenter's career from turning into a crying shame.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. This film may have done okay if the title had been penned differently, but other than this, a terrible film with bad acting and a silly idea overall, I wouldn't recommend to any horror fan whatsoever 1 star.
That asshole's just butt fucked hurt because they can't pronounce their own goddamn name. Go to hell and die.
From Danny, worst movie of all time. How many movies have come out since the very first reel was ever produced? 4,000, 5,000, a million? Who knows? All I know is that Halloween 3 has got to be the worst out of each of these, every single movie ever produced by the hands of man. I've seen some pretty bad movies. 8mm, Godzilla, The New Psycho. And this one takes the cake. They should have called this movie Wild Wild Waste. I must have switched like 20 positions while watching this garbage. I was so uncomfortably bored. Do yourself a big favor. Rent some good and original horror movies like the original Halloween, original Psycho, and this one really dates the poster, or the new but controversial Blair Witch Project. 1 star.
Oh. Fuck this guy, too.
Yeah.
I liked 8mm. What an asshole.
I don't think I actually... No, I did. That was the snuff film one. I did see that. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it was disturbing. It was tough to watch, but
yeah.
James Gandolfini killed it in that movie.
Last two here. Cameron D. Byrne. Halloween 3 Season of Witch... Halloween 3 Season of the Dumb. The only reason I gave this movie a single star at all is because Dan O'Hurley gave an excellent performance as Connell Cochran. The only good thing about this movie is its villain, although he disappeared. What the hell was that anyway at the end of the movie? Oh well. And one warning, you've been one of those people who get songs stuck in their head. Steer clear of this movie. The annoying London Bridge Halloween commercial embedded itself in my gray cells. And to this day, you can still catch me singing 8 more days till Halloween, 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 until I'm ready to dash my head against the concrete wall. 1 star. And lastly, from Cove Girl. I remember as a young teen browsing the horror section of my video store and seeing the cover of this movie, but for some reason never rented it. My money was being looked after by a higher power back then because this movie, for lack of a better term, blows. I don't chuck that phrase around often, but why is it even in the Halloween series of movies? There's not a single element of the other movies in it. Call it Haunted Halloween or Mask of the Damned or something, but to call it Halloween 3 has to be some kind of illegal slander. 1 star. So there you have it. Now I get, like, obviously 1 stars were the same as the 5 stars. People not wanting to expect to see Michael Myers and judging it basically on that. I was guilty of that when I was 11, 12 years old.
Sure, as an 11, 12-year-old would be.
But
who sprays themselves in the face?
I think both sides of this argument have points, and both sides need to calm down a bit.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows nowadays that Michael is in there. It's an anthology. Everybody knows backstory. You're not breaking new ground, like pulling did you know this was like, you're not sounding like you're some smart horror aficionado, or like, you're not, everybody knows. So calm the fuck down with that shit. But at the same time, the people saying, it sucks because Michael Myers, isn't it? I also get, because I've been there, I've done that.
Sure.
So I think both sides need to calm the fuck down and find a happy ground in between.
We started to talk about this. Let's talk about it now.
Yes.
I really, really wish John Carpenter would have stuck to his guns if he wanted it to go in this direction and say, no, I'm not doing another one with Michael Myers. I'm releasing Halloween 2, Season of the Witch, a Halloween movie. And every year or two, you'll have another John Carpenter Halloween movie. Who knows what we would have had? We still would have had Michael Myers in Halloween. We would have had the Season of the Witch. We would have had other things. Who knows? Now, on the other side of that coin, that also would deprive us of the iconic murder icon of Michael Myers himself, who is your favorite. If I'm speaking for you, I would say he's your favorite serial killer, your favorite amongst the big 3. Freddy, Michael, and Jason.
He was definitely growing up. He
absolutely.
He definitely became my favorite as growing up. I had posters. I had fucking dolls.
You cock blocked me with it.
I did. That's a great story, but I think we've told it before.
We did.
But I will say lately, over the last few years, Jason's really kind of overtaken my because I've gone back and watched the movies and even the shittier ones are a little more fun. Like Halloween, some of the Halloween movies. As much as I love Michael Myers, the movie like Halloween 5 isn't great, and then fucking 6 is a weird ass train wreck, and then fucking Resurrection just kept getting worse and worse, and they started dragging my favorite character like through the mud. Like he can't save these movies for me.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, Jason movies are just steadily just fun, and then the Friday 13th, the video game that came out, just really made it a lot more fun, and just so. Yeah, they're 1A, 1B, but yeah, Jason's really stepped up his game for me since this. But Halloween will always have a special place.
What about Halloween 2018?
You know what? I only watched it once. I enjoyed it.
You've only seen it once?
I only see what says. Yeah, I don't have time with a 3-year-old to watch horror movies, and the horror movies I do watch are the shit ones for the show. So I don't. And even like the Rob Zombie remakes, like the first one I was like, okay, it's a different take. I loved it. I really enjoyed. I think I really did enjoy the first one. But I'd always had to fast forward like the first 45 minutes of the movie.
When it's just white trash-orama?
Yeah. And like I get like he was trying to do more backstory with Michael, like in the hospital, has to grow up in the mental institution. I kind of get that. But it dragged on too much for me. I'm like, okay, enough of this. I'm done. Let me just get to where he escapes and get to
the good stuff.
The good stuff. And then number 2 was like, huh?
I haven't seen number 2.
I know people really rag on that one, and I understand it. My hatred for it isn't. I'm not saying I have a hatred for it, but I'm more confused by it. Like I'm torn because like I don't like what they did, but at the same time I appreciate what they tried to do, and like I get this and I don't, but I hated the ending. Like I don't know. I'm like So I'm mixing, but I still love Michael Myers. There's something about him. I always will. But anyway, I'm rambling on. I can do that later. Let's finish your thoughts on this.
Well, I kind of forgot what I was talking about.
Well, okay. Well, we're at the point where you're talking about John Carpenter and his.
So it just. On the one side, it could have been an amazing Halloween anthology every year, every 2 years, another John Carpenter Halloween movie with different stories, which would have been really fun and interesting and unique.
Yeah.
And instead, on the other side of the coin, we got a good thing. We got Michael Myers back and back and back again. It's so interesting to think if they didn't throw a bucket load of money at John Carpenter to do Halloween 2, which if you watch the... I think it's a documentary called In Search of Darkness it's on Shudder right now. It's a fantastic documentary about 80s horror. John Carpenter mentions they wanted to do Halloween 2 with Michael Myers, and I said I didn't want to do that. And he realized they were going to do it with it or without him.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it, I might as well do it.
They're throwing a buttload of money at these. I might as well do it. It's my thing. I don't let them bastardize or fuck it
and
up.
from what I understand, he basically locked himself in a room with a bottle of whiskey and like banged out a script, and he's like threw it at Deborah Hill and was like, make something of this donkey. And then when they did it, they finally said, okay, you can finally do what you wanted to do. But it was too late. He already laid the groundwork with Michael Myers.
A different studio bought up Halloween 3. Like one that did Halloween 2, like then it got bought by a different studio. And
Dimension?
No, I don't remember what studio. At least that's what I mean. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like a new studio bought it and let them do that or something like that. But anyway, what final thoughts? We're running real long on this one, which is fine. It's the 200th episode. What's your final take on this? Where are you standing?
So you have to look at this movie as Season of the Witch. You can't look at it as Halloween 3. If you look at it as Season of the Witch, and if they released it as Season of the Witch, John Carpenter's Season of the Witch, it'd be so bad it's good. And that's the way I like it. So bad it's good. I like this movie. I like Tom Atkins. I like Steal Your Girl Tom Atkins coming in, whiskey powered, high life fueled, just doing his thing. It's so fun. I love John Carpenter movies. I love the suspense. I love the score. I like the lighting. All that's it's a great John Carpenter film, and the ending is so fantastic. Did he save him? Did he not? Sure didn't look like he did. Looks like he got real close. I enjoyed this movie thoroughly.
All right. So here's what it comes down to. Here's the big moment I guess everyone's been waiting for, or at least I'm assuming people. What am I going to say now after my long?
You better build this up.
Yeah, my long journey with this movie.
Decades long.
So I wrote down some things. Here's things I liked about the movie. First of all, the music. I commented earlier, actually in the episode, the music again, John Carpenter, great. I love it. Really does. There's some great music things and music scores. So that's up there. I love the music. The story concept itself isn't bad, but it's just it's okay. It's not terrible, but it's okay. Like okay, whatever, fine.
You're along for the ride.
I'm along for the ride. We mentioned earlier, but Dan O'Herlihy did a great job as Cochrane. Crushed it. Loved him in this. Atkins was fine, I guess. I mean, I have more on him later, but he's fine. Some things I hated. Now, here we go. To me, it was boring. I got so bored watching this. I did. I was bored. I was bored. I got bored because I just felt like there was nothing happening. And to me, this felt more like a sci-fi movie than a horror movie. I felt like this was a very drawn-out, elongated episode of like Twilight Zone or Tales from the Crypt or something.
X-Files or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't feel like this is a horror movie. I just didn't. And like you commented, the name, Halloween Season of the Witch. First of all, there's no fucking witches in it either. The word witch is mentioned one time in passing. One time. Cochrane never says, I'm a witch. It just says, the witch, way back in the day, the witch. Okay, it has no link to the movie whatsoever. There's no spells, no curses, no nothing. So that's weird, but like I said, I'll come back to that. And also, this is the things I hated or thing I like. It's just the point that even though we had a ton of fun laughing about his character and Tom Atkins in this movie, which made it, I get, for now, like after, I like him now, but I don't. Like, it was a lot of fun to joke about this character and laugh at and have fun with. But at the end, I don't understand why so many people are going apeshit for Tom Atkins. If it's Tom Atkins, period, or Tom Atkins in this movie, I don't get it. Oh, steal your woman. He didn't steal anybody's woman. He didn't come up and steal some married some married chick. His ex-wife fucking he banged some jailbait girl. He didn't steal her from anybody, and he's boning some corner sister on the side. So I don't know where the steal your girl is coming from. That's
just me talking, baby.
Okay, he's just a drunk doctor who I don't get it. Like I don't.
Did you ever see him in The Fog?
Long. I haven't seen The Fog in a long time.
He picks up Jamie Lee Curtis as a hitchhiker. Next scene, he's got done plowing her, and you're looking through pictures. Like, the guy just gets puss on the regs.
All right, so fine, but I know so many people go, and especially, no offense to the guys that Here Comes the Spooky. I know Nachos and Cincinnati Jeff love Tom Atkins. Like, they fucking suck his dick or something. I meant it in the nicest way possible, guys. I do. But I don't get the Tom Atkins love. I just don't. He's he's fine in the movie. He's not bad, but I don't see that he's not like this, he's such this amazing character and he's so cool. Like, whatever. I don't get it. So, also, I think, like, I love John Carpenter movies. I agree with you. Like, if this movie was not Halloween 3, if it was called, like, the one girl in the review, if it was called, like, Masks of the Damned, let's say her thing, or something else, probably went fine. It wouldn't have had the blowback that so many people expected, because that's just a bad mistake in the peak of the 80s when Jason and Fred, everything, the height, like, they get away from your iconic slasher is just a dumb move. And then they expect us to have the same kind of financial and critical success that you had with something completely different, but using that same name is not right. Like, and then
they fucked that up.
Yeah, they fucked that up hard. So if it was named something else, I think the movie itself would have been fine. It's okay, fine. It's kind of like when they did Friday the 13th, the TV show. As a kid, I go, Friday the 13th TV show, awesome. I start watching that. Where the fuck's Jason?
Yes.
Where's Jason? I kept expecting Jason to start coming out killing kids in New York or something like that. Like, where is he? But they didn't. There was no Jason. It was just it was basically a Twilight Zone thing.
But Freddy's Nightmares. At least they had Freddy in the beginning.
Yeah, that was like
it's telling you what's going to happen. Like, hey kids,
he's like a crypt
this
keeper.
is what's going to happen. Yes,
he's like a crypt keeper.
This is what's going to happen in this story. So you knew Freddy wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah.
There was one where Freddy was in it, and that was like Freddy on trial. When it was Freddy on trial for killing all these kids.
Oh,
like before he got set on fire.
Before he became the dream. I thought it was like Freddy, like now, like I'll burn him and sitting there in the car, like, yeah, bitch, I killed this kid, bitch. Like, I don't know that bitch. He was asking for it, bitch. I don't know, but that's funny. But okay, so at the end of the day, so bad good, so bad scary. I know no matter what I'm probably gonna get blowback from this, but
dude, just speak from the heart.
To me, I'm still saying so bad scary.
Wow.
Different reasons though. I'm over the fact Michael Myers isn't in. I get it. I'm fine. I've moved on. Judging it from just a pure movie, not even I'm going, okay, this movie is the unnamed movie. No title, no nothing. Right. Just the movie. Tom Atkins, fine. Dan O'Herlihy crushes it. He's good. Thumbs up. but I was bored. I was so bored. Like I just nothing is fucking happening. You get the kill with the old man at the beginning, and then like 30 or 40 minutes go by before anything happens. You get the thing with Marge, and then it trails off for again, and everything's so far between anything happening. It just people just wandering around, talking, doing nothing. You know, I was just bored. I wanted more. I just wanted more. And it doesn't feel like a horror movie. It feels like a sci-fi movie or a Tales from the Crypt, a Twilight Zone shit. That's what it feels like to me. I'm saying So Bad It's Scary. I still don't like the movie.
I feel like you have to be in the right mood for a John Carpenter movie often.
And I didn't think John Carpenter, because I mean, the Fog, just Halloween, fucking Ghost from Mars is a weird one. He gets a lot of great, but that's a fun movie. I enjoy. That's a fun one. It's weird, but it's fun. And that got trashed too.
But they move kind of slow. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you watch Escape from New York. I mean, it's like, goddamn, Pliskin, get to fucking the island already. Let's get to Manhattan already.
And I know you can say that the original Halloween is slow, but it's slow in a good way. Like for somehow they got the formula right with that one, and then just I don't know.
And you said you were bored, but like there were certain things for me that I was entertained by that weren't necessarily kills. Like, oh, look at Tom Atkins telling his wife to fuck off, and I'm gonna grab a 6-pack of High Life and run off this girl. That for me, as a guy who's got his dreams crushed by marriage, yes, I love the idea of him going off and doing that. I'm like, yeah, that's action for me. I'm like, hooray!
Okay, it has this moment. There's some fun moment, like weird moments like that. But I just, as an overall movie, I don't plan on ever watching this again.
Wow.
I really don't. I unfortunately had to buy it so we could do it for this episode, but I have every other Halloween movie on disc multiple times. I still will not buy this movie. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers anymore. I don't care. I'm bored. It doesn't live up to hype to me. It has nothing to do with all you fucking high horse horror fans out there saying, well, I just don't get it. It's blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. You know, go fuck yourself. It's not for me. I still don't like it. But at least I can say I don't like it for different reasons now. I've at least matured past.
I respect the fact. I respect the fact that if it was, you know, like you say, if it wasn't even a Michael Myers film, you still wouldn't be into it.
Yeah,
I'm into it. I like it.
That's fine. And I'm sure, and there's people out there who are gonna love it. But also for people who love it just because Tom Atkins, that's not gonna carry a movie for me. If I'm judging it as a movie as a whole,
sure.
There's some movies like I love Daniel Harris most of the time, but a lot of the movies we've done as well have sucked. Doesn't save the movie for me just because I like Daniel Harris. The movie still sucks.
I thought it was Tom Atkins at his finest.
He does a good job. I'm saying he's fine, you know. And his ending scene, that rage is amazing.
Yeah,
the ending is awesome. I do love the ending. It's awesome. But it just doesn't save the movie.
On a scale, you know, right at 50 is the line between So Bad It's Good, So Bad It's Scary. On So Bad It's Scary, where are you? Are you at 45? Or are you all the way at 0, the worst fucking thing you've ever seen? 0 being the worst fucking thing, like Seed's Revenge or Lake Fear 3. You know, 0 being the worst of the worst of the worst. And, you know, 49 being something you just barely said So Bad It's Scary. Where does this lie?
I'm closer, and I'll say I'm closer to the 50.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I would.
On a scale of 1 to 100.
Like, if I had to do a 5-star review, I'd say maybe I'd give it a 2 or 3. 2.5, maybe 3. Just because, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just couldn't figure out, I was so bored. Like, I just felt like nothing was happening. Tom Atkins is fine. I know Haley, great. I keep saying that, but I was bored. Like, I was like, I'm trying to do my notes on it. It's like, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I'm so bored. I just at the point I wanted to get, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm bored. And that's,
and I think there was also something at the time too. It seemed like a lot of movies in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a lot more of like just a guy walking into a room, opening the fridge, popping open a beer, taking a sip, go. Walking over the TV.
Yeah. I mean,
clicking it. It doesn't work. He has to go turn it on.
I get your
he has to slap the side a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
I get the storytelling aspect.
It's
but
like there's a lot more movies like that at the time.
I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. I still don't like the movie, but for different reasons now. Take it for what it is. That's my honest opinion. I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to dig in my heels and say, oh, it's terrible because no Michael Myers, whatever. It's just different reasons. I still don't care for it. I don't think watch it again on my own.
I like it.
I know.
Don't get me wrong.
So we're split.
I'd probably put it around the 65 to 70. You know, out of 100. You know, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like blew my dick away, but you know, it's not like I was elegant on.
I had more fun talking about this. I had a lot of fun doing this episode.
too,
This was a
yeah.
lot of fun. We joked about it, and it probably sounds like I liked it better but we do. It happens with all these episodes. We have fun talking when we get talking about. It sounds a lot better.
Oh
than
yeah,
it
the
is.
trap door sucks.
Yeah,
but man, if you listen to that episode, it's fun.
Yeah. So
Episode 45, I believe.
40 something, 45, 48, somewhere around there. Yeah, 42. I don't know. All right, guys, that's it. 200th episode in the books. We're gonna continue on with our 200th episode celebration next week with our guests and retrospect. So turn in for that.
You get a chance to hear us sucking our own dicks some more.
Yeah, you do. Tell us some stories. Who knows? But all right, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for being on this train ride with us for as long as we can go on.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling your friend. And like honestly, tell your friends. Tell a buddy. Like,
tell your friends. Tell your wives. Tell your sisters.
Yeah, just mention our name. Drop a line. Say, hey, this is a fun little podcast. Because that's the best 5-star we can get is an actual true recommendation.
And like I said, if you have keep your suggestions coming. Keep sending those your bad movie suggestions. I've been getting several decent ones over the pandemic. I've been getting some more, and I've gotten some more recently. So keep them coming. We love getting them. I try to get all of them onto the schedule as best I can. You get, so
we gotta lighten the load with a banger from time to time, though.
A little, yeah.
Or at least I shouldn't say a banger, but something like this that's more well known.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But all right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you so much again. Watch more horror movies, and remember to always keep
It tight.